Alien Romulus takes another crack at it. Pete and Joseph get brutalized, and the gang says goodbye to a legend.
Oh, it's time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call! Bueller.
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kimble to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates. Welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class. I'm your host for today, Pete.
And I'm Tyler.
And I'm Joseph.
Thank you, Count Tyler. And we have a great show for you today. Welcome to everybody on YouTube Live and otherwise, and of course the OG audio-only classmates out in podcast land. And a special shout out to Binge Lord Dan in the chat, who is on his deathbed.
Dying as we speak.
Wait,
Yeah,
he's dying?
He's withering away. Where's the sad violin music? He's a shrunken, a shriveled shell of his former self.
I did hear the bird flu was going around.
Oh no, we got the flu. You got the BF.
He's all perched up like a Victorian child.
He's like the
hands across his chest.
He's like the raven from the Edgar Allan Poe poem.
The Raven.
He's
the,
like
the Raven. The Raven was dying in that poem.
I don't know.
The Raven.
The titular Raven.
Yeah.
Yeah. So welcome back, Tyler.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's
How's your mouse problem?
Oh God. Oh, well, it's solved.
It's solved. You took
Yeah.
care of it?
I did.
You, yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He got a comically large mallet, and every time he put a piece of cheese in front of the hole in the baseboard of the wall.
Imagine the whole time.
It was actually a little bit more macabre than that, but
It was like
you're
the movie
essentially
Mouse
on-
Hunt.
You're on the right track, but it was a lot more macabre and
Macabre?
emotionally.
What are you, cursing the mice?
I mean, it was
He put
more.
a spell on them.
No, it was just. I felt like a serial killer taking care of that problem. So
okay.
yeah,
I don't know what that. I
gotta-
don't want to press for any further.
At the end,
Okay,
of, the, at
that's
the, end of the
fine,
day,
that's
you gotta
fine.
kill
I-
the mouse.
I mean that's fine. We don't have to go into further detail on how I took care of it, but they were.
Was it just one mouse?
No,
Just causing you problems? It was Jerry. or Tom?
There was a ton of them.
It was Jerry.
No, it wasn't a ton, but yeah,
Hundreds of mice.
it was 100. I would have been a shell of a man if I had to take care of 100 mice. That was not fun. But anyways, it's great. I'm really glad to be back.
Good. How'd you like Mystery Men? We want to hear your Mystery Men.
You watch it?
Take.
Did not watch it.
Oh,
I tried
that's
to
a
watch.
shocker.
You tried
not
to watch it.
shocker. No, I mean, I tried to watch it, but again, the aforementioned mice problem got in the way.
They chewed your TV, your computer monitor cord.
It's a full-time job.
No, it just it happened during, and there was others. I had a emotionally tumultuous time last week, and so I apologize to the classmates for not showing up, but
It's okay.
I'm here and I'm glad to be back.
Yeah, welcome. We got chat's full. We got Bruce,
Oh.
Binge Lord Dan, and Heather in the chat.
Hi everyone.
Hey everybody, thanks for being here.
Two's a party, three's a crowd.
That's right. If you're only listening on the audio only, you're missing out all kinds of fun on the YouTube channel. For one, you get to see Tyler's the Cryptid Mash t-shirt.
Oh yeah, it's a sweater I got for Christmas last year.
It's like the Monster Mash.
It has but instead of the Mothman, it's a Moth Woman, and I gotta say, like she looks dynamite. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah,
I like the little logo of the Loch Ness Monster in the corner too.
yeah.
She doesn't shave her armpits.
No, she doesn't.
How
Just the way
very
I,
progressive.
Just the way I like it.
That's right. Tyler likes it. The 70s look.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
here we are on the eve of the supposed TikTok ban.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
On January 19th, it's allegedly being banned in the U.S.
I mean, I don't even know how I'm gonna watch movies again.
That's what we were talking about. We were like,
You'll never see The Brutalist now.
I know. What did you say? Like 901 minute clips?
945-second clips, yeah.
a 3.5 hour movie is definitely going to take, it's a lot of uploads.
It's weird that they left like the 45-second clips of the intermission.
Oh, yeah.
There's an intermission in the movie.
Yeah,
Nice.
there's a 15-minute intermission, which I'm pretty sure it's built into the runtime.
It is by
right?
runtime.
Oh, okay.
So on the physical release, will it be like a 2-disc thing? Or
Probably not.
Will it be like 1 disc with the 15-minute intermission? Or would they
Probably
just
the intermission.
exclude that?
Probably the intermission, because when I watched the special edition Fiddler on the Roof recently, preparing for my spot on Close Watch with Robert Yanez Jr., they had the intermission built into it. And it's music and stuff.
Yeah.
And it makes sense for the story, too.
And there's like a picture.
Yeah, it makes sense in the story.
Yeah.
Concept. So
I guess we'll see. But to show some solidarity with our social media ally of TikTok, we will be moving all of operations to China.
yes.
I've already downloaded Duolingo, Starling Mandarin, and Cantonese.
Sure.
Ni hao.
Yeah. Ryan's loving this right now, by the way.
But yeah, so we'll be transporting everything here from California, shipping it to the east,
The
to
far
China.
east.
Yeah, the very far east.
Yeah.
And we'll be operating out of there now.
We're going to change the name too. It's not going to be middle class film class. It's going to be Most Glorious Leader film class.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Dear Leader and film class lessons.
Okay.
The translation sounds a little rough, but when you say it, hear it in the native Mandarin, it's appropriate.
I bet it looks cool in Chinese characters.
Probably.
Yeah. So, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to ditch the follow us on TikTok.
Yeah. So supposedly what it is that it's just not going to be available in the App Store to download anymore. If you have it now, you'll still have it. But as updates come, you won't get the updates.
It'll just be less and less usable.
It's like the people who are still using Windows 95. Eventually, you just can't run any new programs on it.
Yeah.
The theory, one of the theories is that like Trump's going to come in and save it at the very last second.
Oh, I see. Oh, Elon's going to... I'm
Yeah.
going to buy that too and make it great, just like Twitter.
And then
Just going to fuck it up.
no one's going to use it out of spite because of that.
Yeah. Or it's just going to be, oh, hey, Joel's in the chat. What's up, buddy? It's going to be even worse.
Hell yeah.
And it's just going to turn into a right-wing echo chamber like Twitter did.
Yeah. I think
God.
that I don't know. I don't care, honestly. Like
It affects you the most.
I know. You're the one who lives on it.
I don't. I know. But at the same time, I've already accepted the passing of TikTok.
What's the new one? Red something?
Red Note.
Can you play the music, please?
Yeah.
We here at Middle Class Film Class are huge proponents of Red Note, and we think yes, our dear leader and his infinite wisdom bringing Red Note to our Purple Mountain's Majesty is much appreciated.
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard it here first.
Yeah, I've heard that the developers over there have, because of the influx of TikTok refugees, the app was catered to primarily a Chinese audience. So the language is already when you first get it, it's already in Mandarin.
They're working overtime to get the English.
And there's an English setting, but you have to navigate to it
in Mandarin.
Yeah. So now I think they are making it more English friendly.
Yeah,
but
I think they're anticipating
the locals are gonna riot. They're not gonna like that.
But yeah, I'm gonna have so much free time on my hands.
Yeah, not me. I don't do Minecraft. So I don't do TikTok. I just do Minecraft.
Yeah.
So that's absorbed all my
Next
time.
on the docket, banning Minecraft.
What the fuck? No, this is we riot if that happens.
Yeah, they're gonna bring back actual mines and put kids in there.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
if that's the future that's ahead of us, I'm revolting.
Yo, you like Minecraft so much? Why don't you go marry a mine?
If you like Minecraft so much, why don't you work in a mine?
Why don't you get with the miner? Wait, that sounds weird.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I guess let's get into some actual Gavin chatter then, shall we? Ooh, coming
Find
hot.
some character in you, lad. Now's the time for Gavin chatter.
Gavin chatter, movie news of the week. Tyler, what do you have for us today?
I was really struggling trying to find a news story, but I think what's really on our minds, on the forefront of everyone who loves cinema and the entertainment industry, David Lynch is no longer with us.
Yes, he's a formerly alive person.
And so I wanted to talk about his career and ask you guys what your favorite David Lynch movie is. Mm-hmm. And before we get into that, I do have a quote that I wanted to read that I thought was pretty insightful, I guess you could describe it. Mm-hmm. Let me pull it up here. That stupid website freaking went all the here we go.
That's the quote.
Yeah, that's the quote. So he's quoted on saying, "We all want expanded consciousness and bliss. It's a natural human desire, and a lot of people look for it in drugs. But the problem is that the body, the physiology, takes a hard hit on drugs. Drugs injure the nervous system, so they just make it harder to get those experiences on your own. I have smoked marijuana, but I no longer do. I went to art school in the 1960s, so you can imagine what was going on. Yet my friends were the ones who said, 'No, David, don't you take those drugs.' I was pretty lucky. Besides, far more profound experiences are available naturally. When your consciousness starts expanding, those experiences are there. All those things can be seen. It's just a matter of expanding that ball of consciousness. And the ball of consciousness can expand to be infinite and unbounded. It's totality. You can have totality. So all those experiences are there for you without the side effects of drugs." And I thought it really speaks to the character of David Lynch, because when you for a layman who isn't really familiar with David Lynch or really understanding the complexity of human behavior, it could seem like, oh, well, he was just high on drugs or something like that. He was on acid. Mm-hmm. And so I think him saying that really kind of, for me, it really explains how David Lynch embraced I don't even want to say weirdness, but embraced his creativeness in a way where it's unabashed. He was just unequivocally creative.
I think that
individualistic.
I think that there's people talk about unique voices, and David Lynch was a true one of one. There will never be anyone like him again.
Right.
And it's like I'm a product of the things around me. I, absorb pop culture and spit it out in different versions. And it's like if you truly think about yourself and creative endeavors and stuff, it's very rare to have a truly wholly 100% original concept and idea and execution on things. And he was that, like, start to finish.
Yes.
Every project he had was just like, about the only thing that you can think of that was derivative would be something like Elephant Man, and it was his 100% own thing. And it was like showing the world that I could make a real movie, a regular movie, quote unquote, if I want to, but that's not what I want to do. And then the straight story, his one from he made for Disney.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which is just it's a great movie, and it's wild in its execution, but yeah, he really is a one of a kind.
So yeah, I thought that he like you just said, he had a very unique voice in the world of cinema. He'll be very missed. One of the things that at the end of his life, he talked about smoking and how he had an affinity for smoking cigarettes. He said he liked the smell, he liked the taste, he liked the way how it looked when he smoked a cigarette, and he was not. He accepted, like, I did this to myself, like that, like I know this was the cause of his disease. He died of emphysema. Oh, emphysema. Sorry. Oh, jeez. And he was very blunt about his about the cause of the disease. That
You want me to read the quote?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is from August 5th of last year. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, I have emphysema from my many years of smoking. I have to say that I enjoyed smoking very much, and I do love tobacco, the smell of it, lighting cigarettes on fire, smoking them. But there is a price to pay for this enjoyment, and the price for me is emphysema. I have now quit smoking for over 2 years. Recently, I had many tests, and the good news is that I'm in excellent shape except for emphysema. I'm filled with happiness, and I will never retire. I want you to all know that I really appreciate your concern. Love, David.
Yeah, I remember reading that and just thinking, this man, he knows who he is, and he ain't gonna change.
Reminds me of a warrior, death by sword, died in battle.
Yeah.
But this is his own personal choice.
Well, I mean, I feel really bad that he's gone, but he left a body of work
He
that
felt
we can
like
all enjoy.
he felt like a true creative person, somebody who obviously had something to say and didn't care about how he told it. Like, he wanted to tell it as true to himself as he wanted to tell it.
Yeah.
And while his movies, for me, are not like something I'm like looking for or after, except for maybe like something like Mulholland Drive, which I liked a lot. I think him as a person, just being someone for the arts and coming from like this, starting in the 70s to now, being that influence for so many other people in so many other mediums of art. And another quote from David Lynch that I like a lot, and Rick Rubin also has a similar idea, but he likens ideas to fish, and his quote is, ideas are like fish. If you want to catch little fish, you can stay in the shallow water, but if you want to catch the big fish, you've got to go deeper. Down deep, the fish are more powerful and more pure. And essentially he's just saying that ideas, and Rick Rubin as well, I guess, ideas aren't like created by somebody. Ideas already exist in the world, and if you're somebody who doesn't go for whatever idea, somebody else is going to go for it.
Yeah.
Somebody else is going to do it.
Also, it's risky out in the water.
Yeah, somebody else is going to catch that fish that you aren't willing to catch.
Yeah.
I like that idea. I like that concept a lot. And he has another quote, something about he was asked by somebody, and like he was doing like a panel or something, and somebody asked him about, like, does anybody ever ask you about, like, or tell you about, like, how your movies don't make any sense or anything like that? Like, what do you say to people like that? And his response was something like, it was like, movies that tell you or stories or movies that tell you
how to feel,
tell you the plot isn't, and this is obviously paraphrasing, like isn't good art or isn't effective or isn't true art or something like that. I think that movies that require like humans have intuition and using intuition to interpret whatever art.
I think I remember that.
That's the answer to whatever question the movie is presenting to you is your own intuition.
It's kind of interesting because when you think about different forms of art, movies are about the only thing that you can like really specifically give somebody like this means this. You know, you can draw a straight line to it if you make it in a very specific way. Where you see a painting on a wall, no one's like, "Well, what's it mean?"
Yeah.
One of Tyler's favorite painters, Claude Monet, is like, what's a great painting from Monet that you like?
I mean, I couldn't tell you any titles.
But what are they of?
But I mean, like,
what are they of?
It's mostly nature scenery.
Yeah, it's like flowers and like a scenescapes. Like, what does that mean, Tyler?
Well, I think for myself, when I look at Claude Monet paintings, it's more so about the interpretation of the perspective of what he's painting, because he would paint outside. He would paint like on boats.
A lot of his stuff looks like he's looking at the ground too.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool because it fills the entire frame with the flowers.
I mean, I don't think that there's. I mean, this is kind of like with Lynch movies as well. Is like I think it's up to the viewer of the art, of the perspective, like to make sense of what you think it is. So like for me, for example, for like. For like a Claude Monet picture, I imagine myself when I would like go and just space out at the river and just like stare at the water and stuff. That to me is like
it transports you to a different time and evokes a memory.
Exactly.
And it's like that's Lynch in itself too. There's things in his movies that I'll never understand, but I watch it and I'm like, it's like forcing me to think about something. And it's done in a way that it's like it doesn't feel phony.
It doesn't feel pretentious.
It doesn't feel pretentious. It doesn't feel like he's being weird for the sake of being weird.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like most people would, at first glance, might think that.
Yes.
And I don't know. There's no rhyme or reason behind it. You can't put a recipe behind it. The secret sauce is him.
Yeah. That's what you're saying. He's just unequivocally creative, and for the fact that he was able to have a platform. What is just a miracle for our Western culture.
Yeah, I want to share one memory from David Lynch's catalog. When I was about, it's got to be 13, maybe 12, 13. Me and my buddy Damon would ride bikes around town. We had a big group of people that would ride bikes around town. But I remember going over to Damon's grandparents' house on the opposite side of town a lot, and his grandparents were always home, and it was kind of a safe place for us to crash, before going off to the next thing. And we'd stay the night there sometimes. And I remember one night they had like HBO and Cinemax and all those kind of paid channels, movie channels. And we were flipping through the channels trying to find something racy to watch one night, after the grandparents had gone to sleep. And Blue Velvet comes on the screen. And it's we don't know anything about the movie, and we're like, Blue Velvet, that sounds sexy.
Yeah,
it
does. I would have thought the same thing at 13 years
because
old.
A lot of the other stuff was like HBO's real sex.
Yeah,
and you'd watch it, and it was just like people talking about a blowjob they gave somebody one time in the back of a cab.
Yeah, or like Zoftic women in a sex camp.
Yeah, so. Anyways, so we put on this movie, flip through the channels, we get to this movie, and it's the scene where Kyle MacLachlan is in the closet watching Dennis Hopper's character have his breakdown while he's on amyl nitrate.
Yeah.
Huffing amyl nitrate. And I'm going to play the audio. We don't have I don't want to do the video clip, but it's this exact part that we walked in on. Point, we're very confused. She seems to be enjoying it. She just got punched in the face. And he's shouting at her vagina.
Baby, what's Blue Velvet?
Yeah.
And it goes on like that. You can imagine how we're
I'm about to have the hardest boner right now.
I mean, that's how I make love to all of my women.
Yes,
Those
yes.
poor women.
Those poor women. Those poor women.
That's poor. They're gonna kill that poor woman.
Yeah.
But we quoted that line for fucking years because we were so.
What, baby wants to fuck?
No, don't look at me, don't you fucking look at me.
Oh, okay.
And we were just so confused over what this was that we'd watched. And years later, when we watched it and for the show, I was like, oh, it doesn't make any more sense in context except for that he's a psychopath.
Yeah.
And he's got this mommy complex. But
Yeah.
it was effective to a young Pete and Damon.
Yeah. Well,
we changed it before the scene even ended.
You changed it?
Yeah, we changed
You
the
didn't
channel.
You'd finish the movie.
We're like, this is not what we're looking for.
Yeah.
I kind of turned on, but I'm kind of scared.
I want to go punch a woman
Kinda
right now. We were definitely afraid his grandma was going to walk in at that moment and be like, "What are you watching? You freaking perverts!"
You're here.
But you know what? That's actually funny because I feel like a grandma would walk in and be like, "What the fuck are you?"
Oh, Blue
watching?"
Velvet.
I know. He's like, that reminds me of you and me and your grandfather. That's how we met.
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to say about David Lynch?
Well, I wanted.
Lynchian.
I was, and again, yeah. I mean, that's in the cultural zeitgeist.
Don't worry,
Lynching.
Grandma. It's Lynchian.
Yeah.
Well, I think my favorite David Lynch movie is Wild at Heart with my Laura Dern and Pete's Nicolas Cage.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time I saw that movie was a spectacular memory that I'll never forget was at the Red Museum when they would have the movie nights there. I think it was one of the first movies I saw there. Or no, it wasn't one of the first, but it was definitely one of the first times I saw it. It was one of the first movies I saw there. And I remember just like being in awe of it because it's hard to even say David Lynch movies are weird. I mean, like on paper, I guess on screen in this context, that you can say it's weird, but if you're into it, it's an experience and it's a good one.
And I'm into that scene.
And I'm into it. But I wanted to ask you guys what your favorite David Lynch movies are. So Wild at Heart is mine.
You already said Mulholland Drive.
Mulholland. Yeah. Oh yeah, Mulholland Drive is really good.
Mulholland Drive. Yeah.
That was for Jack.
Mulholland Drive.
I don't know what my favorite one is. I mean, I got maybe Mulholland Drive. Definitely not Eraserhead.
No, not right.
Not Eraserhead.
No. So you have he has a lot. You have the original Dune.
Oh yeah,
no.
Blue Velvet, Wild at Heart.
I think mine's Blue Velvet.
That is a good one.
He's got a lot of stuff like miniseries, music videos, directing TV episodes. Lost Highway, straight story. Mulholland Drive TV movie. Mulholland Drive regular movie.
Twin Peaks,
the show, and then there's Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me.
Did I tell my Twin Peaks story on air before?
I don't know.
Yes, you did.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Inland Empire, which was his last feature, right?
I still need to see Inland Empire, Lost Highway, and Twin Peaks.
Oh, and Elephant Man.
And Elephant Man.
He did Elephant Man.
I've only seen probably not even half his catalog.
Well,
shame.
Most of his catalog is not feature films.
Yeah, I've seen a number of his shorts, and they're all wild.
What Jack did, that Netflix short, or I don't think it was Netflix, but it was on Netflix.
Yeah. Either way, absolute legend.
Yeah.
The greatest
will be missed.
Greatest to ever do it. David Lynch.
The first time I heard his voice, don't do an impression, Tyler.
What?
I know you're just aching.
You're itching.
The first time
it pains you to not do it.
I saw a picture of Lynch first.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I heard his name, David Lynch. It's got kind of a good like
very stoic
ring
name.
to it. Ring to it. And I saw a picture of him. You know, he looked like an auteur. You know, he's got that sort of spiral swoop hair, silver fox.
Yeah.
And then I heard his voice. And I was like, that was not at all what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But it's iconic.
Much like his movies.
Yeah, but it's iconic. Yeah, I guess that's his whole catalog almost.
Yeah.
In terms of his feature films. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
If there ever was one to do it, he certainly did it.
yeah, no, he will go down in history as a very creative filmmaker.
This is my favorite clip of him freaking out on set because there's a number of fun on set interactions.
Okay.
Do you do a close up on Candy still? Or do you need it? If you want to cut the time down, I'll let you know.
What is this with everybody?
No.
What is it? Really? Why? I'm serious. Fucking A, man. It drives me nuts. Who gives a fucking shit how long a scene is?
You gonna try to do close
The music behind it is haunting.
Basically the production assistant or DP or somebody, maybe first AD or something.
Yeah.
Is basically saying, "Can we need to make this scene a little bit shorter?" He's like, "What the fuck? No."
This is my movie.
There was another fun quote from him is like, if you watched a movie on your phone, you haven't watched the movie. Tyler.
I don't like that, but that's one thing we will disagree on.
Yeah. He sometimes would put.
Well, let me know when you watch the movie.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Anyways, greatest of all time, David Lynch. Rest in peace.
But I didn't have any really compelling news stories that I found.
What
So
the fuck are you talking about? That's the news story.
Oh,
Don't sell yourself short.
okay. Well,
Bookend the entire segment with, well, I couldn't find anything.
Well,
But anyways,
all that to say, I didn't have a news story.
David Lynch died, but I mean, I guess if there's a news story, I haven't found it.
I'm your host, Outrageous Tyler.
Don't sell yourself short, boy. That's the story.
Yes, that's the story.
Yeah.
I digress.
Joseph?
Well, I also don't have any news stories, but I did go. Me and you have a experience together.
Yes, we did.
And then we saw The Brutalist.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, we saw The Brutalist at the Delta Shores Limax.
Yes. Is that the unofficial title that people call it Limax, or
Yes.
is that just a youth?
Oh, I thought.
No, it's kind of colloquialism for it.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not like full scale, full scope. It's still a very large screen, but it doesn't have like the wraparound.
It's like a happy medium.
Yeah, it's
between
bigger than a normal screen. Not quite monster size, just right. She says.
Any bigger would be just gratuitous.
Yeah, you're just showing off at that point. But this particular theater, I've seen a number of movies in, and it has a really good sound system too.
It is very loud.
Yeah, it's like I think it's Dolby equipped, and it's this movie's not shot in Dolby or audio in Dolby. But the only thing I knew about the movie was 3.5 hours long.
Yes.
Written and directed by Brady Corbett, has Guy Pearce and Adrian Brody in it, and it's about an architect. The brutalism movement of architecture.
Oh, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Nice.
Brutalism, yeah. And so he's Adrian Brody plays an architect, and he's I didn't even know it was like
not just an architect who escaped the World War II.
Yeah, that part I didn't realize. So I went into it more or less pretty blind. Oh, and then also that everybody says it's fantastic, and it's the next great American epic. So what does that mean to you? To me?
That's basically what I knew about it. Is that
large scale.
It was Adrian Brody
storytelling,
playing another movie kind of centered around World War II.
Yeah,
except he escapes Europe this time.
Yeah,
and he's not Polish. He's from
Austrian-Hungarian.
From Hungary.
Yeah,
and it takes place in Philadelphia for the most part. The story takes place in Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philly and outside of Philly,
and
Doylestown.
He's I don't know if he's a renowned architect in his home country.
Because he designed the library, the National Library in Budapest.
And so he migrates to America, and he essentially is just trying to survive when he first gets there. He's shoveling coal, doing like manual labor stuff. And then he gets hired by Guy Pearce's son to do like a small job for his manor.
He's working at his cousin's furniture company first.
Okay.
Helping him like make the furniture more modern and looking and more beautiful. Mm-hmm. And they get hired for a commission to build these bookshelves in a library for this rich guy, the Van Buren family. So,
basically a remodel a library.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And the son surprises the father with it, and then the father comes home right before they're done with the whole thing, and he blows up at him. He's like, "What the fuck do? You come onto my property, you do this without my permission." And your son said so, and it turns into a whole thing.
So that's the conflict. Is that
that's just the first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The first 1/10 of the movie.
Yes. And overall, it's kind of like the American, the classic American dream at the time, because the movie starts with him on a ship arriving in New York.
Yeah.
Through Ellis Island.
It doesn't even tell you any of it either. You're just in the dark, like the what do they call that? The lower deck.
Yeah.
With him.
The poop deck?
No, that's the top deck. Oh. And he's just coming out into the brightness of America and seeing the Statue of Liberty looming overhead, and it's really immersive and really fucking really good.
Overall, it's a really good movie. It's like I really thought it was gonna be kind of like a slog or a snooze fest or uninteresting, because of the nature of brutalism is kind of almost like minimalism, where it's there isn't, on the surface, it doesn't look like there's much going on. It's
not flashy.
It's kind of like the modern art of architecture, I guess, where it's concrete, smooth edges,
hard angles,
hard corners, lines and stuff.
And almost like abstract shapes put in places you wouldn't expect.
Yeah. And, but everything about it, the production, the filmmaking, the
score,
the score is fantastic. I think
it's my favorite score of the year.
I put it on in my car the other day.
Really?
Yeah.
When you're driving through, if you're driving down a country road with that playing, you're like, I'm on an adventure.
It's there's a hopefulness in the first part of the story, because the first part of this, I guess, 2-part story, because divided up by an intermission. The first part is really solid, really, really good. I didn't expect it to be as emotional as it was.
Yeah.
Because there's a heartfelt storyline, because his wife is stuck in Europe still.
Yeah.
While trying to get over, and he's there by himself living with his American cousin
Attila.
And then there's turmoil within their relationship, because he is married, I think.
Yeah, he's married to a Catholic, and
he wants to get with his cousin.
No, they've converted the cousin and the cousin's wife converted to Catholicism.
Yeah.
And she doesn't like him because he's an immigrant Jew.
Yeah, there's a lot of prejudice and kind of stuff like that, looking down on immigrants. There's that aspect of the story. And then he also has his own personal problems.
Yeah. Struggles with drug addiction.
Yeah. And then obviously it's a class thing, because he at first starts out.
Someone's here.
Or someone's leaving. I don't know. Anyway,
someone shuffled a deck of cards.
I guess so. Someone blew a raspberry. Because he's an immigrant, and he's coming up from being very poor. And obviously the Van Burens are just extremely wealthy.
Yeah.
But there's camaraderie for most of the movie. And
so it's not a huge sad fest.
No, it's not that bleak.
The first half of the movie, when it was done and lights came up a little bit and the intermission's playing, and there's a ticking clock timer down to from I think it's 16 minutes or something like that, 15 minutes. And it all centers around he's trying to get his wife to come to America through letters, and they need to prove, and they're trying to bring over his niece. It's his sister's daughter, whose sister passed away. So now they're taking care of his niece. And she's a little...
I thought it was his niece. That was his sister had passed away.
It is. It's his sister who passed away. It's both of their nieces, I guess. But they'd have no papers to tie them together. The records are all shot because the country's torn by war. Jeez. So they're just trying to find a photo of all three of them together. And they find the photo, and that's the still of the intermission. Is the photo of him and his wife on his wedding day, and then the niece.
That's awesome.
And you're oh, that's so cool. And so now you're instantly I'm engaged. The second half of the movie, the wife's here, and then the dynamic's going to change, you imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So as lights came up, and I'm sitting there, and I'm kind of look over at Joseph, and I'm it's really fucking good movie.
Yeah.
In my head, I was if the second half lands as hard as the first half is, best of the year. Like it was.
Yeah,
I was on trajectory.
It was in contention. I was like, if the same thought. I was like, if this second half is as good as like Dune.
Yeah, Dune might get kicked down in part 2. Yeah, but the second half still didn't have as much of the emotional pathos behind it in a positive way. It was more bleak. There's more conflict. There's more deception. There's a sexual assault subplot happening. Multiple, actually.
Yeah, there's a lot of There's
Yeah.
a lot of turns that I did not expect whatsoever.
Yeah, so
and it really catches you off guard.
Yeah, it seems like a sudden shift in a character where you're like, where the fuck did that come from?
Yeah.
And from a lot of people who I've read kind of talk about that turn, there's notes earlier that kind of give you clues that there's something there. And I could see it.
There's some dynamics.
But I'd have to watch it again. And I am happy to watch it again for 3 hours worth of movie.
Yeah, because like along with like the story is interesting. It was very similar. I don't say very similar, but there was some similarities to like There Will Be Blood in terms of the story beats.
Did the intermission was that effective towards the movie viewing experience? Was it? Do you think it was necessary for the story?
Yeah,
not for the story, but for us,
for my
in
own
the theater.
sake.
Yeah, for my bladder's sake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I ran to the car and I was having like an allergy attack in the theater. My eyes were just itchy as fuck. So I ran to the car, put eye drops in, got our special edition little posters, put those in the car, and then came back. Drained my bladder, went right back to the theater, and there were still like 3 minutes left.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, on top of the aside from the story, just like the production of it, the filmmaking of it, and the cinematography is like really good. There's a really simple but really effective shot of a camera that's just attached to a front of a car.
Yes.
And it's just of the road and it's driving. But it's like it's something about it is just so like it just looks so good.
Yeah.
I can't.
It reminded me of this, like, kind of the way that the assassination of Jesse James looks.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Where it draws you in and you get this view of, like, what the American West looked like in its infancy.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's shot all on film, and then there are some percentage of it is shot on VistaVision, which we kind of talked about last week.
Yeah.
Which is just a grander scope of like composition and framing.
The scope was good.
Yeah, and
casting was good,
and like just like the editing and the coloring of the whole movie and the music paired with the shots throughout this whole movie, like it is all just like really well executed.
That's
and
some pretty glowing reviews from both of you guys for The Brutalist.
Yeah, and it's like. Yeah, it was just, and that score is so good.
Yeah, it's like
a really simple note.
It's like a French horn, like ascending progression that constantly, and then behind it is this violin just constantly marching. Dun, 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 dun.
Really selling me on it.
It is 100% fantastic.
Yeah,
we had to seek it out because it was only playing in a few days in the area. So, which is a shame because. I understand why people are not going to want to go see this because of the runtime.
Yeah.
But it's like you're getting 2 movies for the price of 1, basically.
Yeah.
You get a 90-minute runtime for some fun, light fare, whatever, and then you pay a second ticket. You go take a break, pay a second ticket, and you go see another movie. You're going to pay twice as much as you would for 1 ticket to The Brutalist.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you get one of the most visually arresting and emotionally heartfelt movies. Maybe not heartfelt, but emotionally effective movies.
Okay.
Yeah.
That also had an ending that I feel like did not match the movie at all.
Oh,
yeah.
The last 10 minutes.
It's kind of bizarre because the movie spans years. It starts in the 40s and 50s.
About 15 years, I think.
And then it ends in 1980.
Oh, you're right. So it spans about, I think, 10 or 12 years in the main story, and then the last 10 minutes is in like 1980.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it changes to shot on video. It changes the score. It changes to be specific to the era of the 1980s.
Yes. There was another aspect to that where it was like the movie felt like it was filmed in a way in which they changed the format of filming to match the year in which the movie is taking place. Yeah. So like when they get into the 60s, like Hitchcock movies had this thing where it's like kind of like extra clarity. There's like a little bit extra clarity, like a little more sharp on the edges. And when I kind of noticed it, like in some scenes where it's like the characters like look like somebody just like bumped up the clarity slider just a little bit on like the film.
It's like when he taps him to come back to the project in that scene where he's going up into the second story of the building or whatever, where he's working as a drafter. And
it just like it felt like it matched like the era in which it's supposed to take place.
Yeah. So for me, easy A+ movie.
Yes.
It's gotta be rewatched again and fully focused on.
I'm like 4.5 stars just because of that ending, and I'm still trying to make sense of it.
It's a 5-star for me.
Really?
I mean, that one little bit. It's when the movie's.
What happens at the end?
Well, I'll tell you.
Why?
You just get to see.
Well, because it's kind of hard to describe.
You get to see the legacy of his work, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But I mean, the ending was the parts of the story that I didn't understand. I'm gonna chalk that up as I need to watch it again.
Yeah.
So they didn't take it. It wasn't so far out in left field that you're like, oh, one of the characters just started screaming the N-word for no reason.
Oh.
Okay, I'm dropping it down 1.5 stars for that. You know? But some things happen that you're just like, where did that come from and why? But none of that really detracted from the movie for me. It was just like,
because it's like it's that last just 1% of the movie, whereas the rest of the 99% was just everything else.
Correct.
That was fantastic.
So I'm male performance of the year and Adrian Brody score of the year for me for this.
Maybe best picture,
maybe best director, maybe best picture, because the other best picture contenders that I have, like my favorites of the year, were like The Substance is still my favorite, Dune Part 2. Trying to think of some other ones that were really high up there for me. But none of those feel like best. This feels like a best picture movie. Like I would not be surprised one iota if it was one for best picture. Granted, I haven't seen Sing Sing or Nickel Boys or a bunch of these other movies that are kind of like in
I don't
the
know.
running.
Amelia Perez.
Fuck. We'll talk about that later. So,
but yeah, it's A+ movie.
I got nothing else to say on it. It's go see it if it's in theaters near you. Go seek it out. This is going to be an easy 4K repurchase.
I am excited because the attention to detail, not just in the filmmaking, but also in the typography of like the opening credits and the ending credits. Because you have like the side scroll of the opening credits in the beginning.
Yeah, the credits are scrolling sideways.
That is like so it's so well thought out. And then the end credits, it felt like I was looking. I was on top of a building looking down on the credits as they were rolling. It was bizarre.
Very interesting.
And it was made for $10 million.
$10 million.
$10 million. When movies are made, like Red One was $250 million.
Yeah. And I don't know what like if there's any CG, if there's any effects, because they're building a building.
Yeah.
They're building a building on top of a hill.
Yeah.
And
that's the main plot.
Yeah.
After they build the library and the Van Buren father is pissed off, he comes to his senses. He apologizes. He says, "I'm sorry, I overreacted. My mother was dying. So I was in an emotional state. Yeah. I want you to build a memorial for her on the top of the hill outside of my house." And the budget is unlimited, basically.
Unlimited.
We want you to, it's your vision, your design. And of course,
we want these specific things in the building.
Yeah, so it's all about designing the building, how it's going to be used, the construction of it, the politics behind the construction, working with the city, making it a Christian thing, even though he's a Jew. And it's like all that stuff, and it's being designed by an immigrant, blah, 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 blah.
Oh, that's a Jew.
Yes. There's a lot of that in this.
There's a lot of that in that movie.
A lot of that in this movie. So, but it was, 100% fantastic.
Wow.
Really fucking good. Really fucking good. Surprised me on how good it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have any news stories. All that to say.
Well, no news stories.
I guess I don't have anything interesting to say. So.
Oh, God. I'll just briefly say that Alien Romulus, it's not anything really worth spending a whole lot of time about, but Fede Alvarez has convinced the studio to redo the CGI on the Ian Holm bot, the face swap Ian Holm android, for home video release and for the streaming release.
For what reason?
Because it was bad.
Oh,
the original release, was not. It didn't look great.
It looked like a TikTok level like face swap filter, and they redid it. And he says, "Oh, they've done it. They made it better." I saw some stills of it. Still doesn't look great.
Yeah.
I'll watch it once I get the home video release because I'm gonna buy that on physical media.
It's somehow worse.
Yeah,
Somehow worse.
I just don't like the fact that they use that character for a pivot, like a crucial plot point. Like he's basically the Basil exposition of that movie.
Yeah.
And they could have used him in monitor. They have him in monitors a few times.
Yeah.
Like on a screen, and it's like that was less distracting. Why not do that more? You know, have him or have his face obscured from like a, you know, being injured so it doesn't look so obvious. But anyways, I just think it's kind of interesting that filmmakers can be like, yeah, we didn't nail it on theatrical release, but we're going to make it better for the DVD or whatever.
Yeah, that's what George Lucas did.
No,
He did. He made it better.
I mean,
Guys, I had a much better idea, but I didn't have time. So now I have time and money, so I'm going to make it a whole lot better for everybody else.
I'm not fundamentally opposed to the idea of like sharpening up CGI, you know, a year after the fact, but like changing the entire parts of the movie or adding whole chunks of pieces into the movie or cutting whole sections out seems wild. Yet they have theatrical release and director's cuts all the time. It's like we've been doing it for decades, so it's not
You have
that
the studio cuts.
yeah, it's not that controversial.
No.
So, anyways, are you guys ready to do some stream picks?
Sure.
Movies.
Wanna watch a movie?
Yes, I do.
Disney Plus. Oh, HBO Max.
If I don't get the pick, show's over.
I have grown accustomed to Hulu Plus.
Amazon Prime. I like Netflix.
String picks, movies that we watched on our streaming services this week that you can watch on yours too. Tyler, lead us off.
All right. So I only watched. I watched 2 movies, but I only watched one new one.
New to you or new?
New to me.
Oh,
new
okay.
to me. This is the Kate Blanchett flick, Truth. Have you guys heard of this one?
No.
I don't think so.
Okay, so Truth, I never heard about this because maybe it was before I was really lucid in my youth. But it's about the story of the Killian documents controversy, aka Rathergate. In the days leading up to the 2004 presidential election, when veteran newscaster Dan Rather and CBS News head Mary Mapes choose to air a segment on 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes.
You okay over there?
I don't know why I was
having a stroke.
I don't know why I was having a hard time pronouncing that word.
What you just said is one of the most insane
All right.
things I've ever heard.
Exposing how President Bush avoided being drafted to Vietnam through his father's political advantages, the resulting fallout ultimately cost them their jobs and reputations. So this stars Kate Blanchett and Robert Redford. I was thinking about this after I watched it. I thought I was lukewarm on it. I think mostly because I wasn't really privy on the context of the story. So it wasn't as impactful for me. I have like a huge celebrity crush on Kate Blanchett. So like anything she's in, I'm going to try to watch. The acting is good. But overall, it's a really average movie with no real risk to the characters other than that they lose their jobs. So it's kind of like, yeah, they exposed something about our president and then they have to fight to have the story be told as it's written.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's not a whole lot of
How'd you hear about this movie?
It was on Netflix, and it was just on the streaming. I saw Kate Blanchett, and when I see Kate Blanchett, I clicked.
Why are you smiling like that?
Because
are you telling me the truth right now?
Well, I mean, yeah.
Or was this recommended by the person you've seen naked?
I was being like edged the whole time.
Well, this was recommended by a fan of the show.
Okay, the truth comes out.
Yeah. But yeah.
You're so transparent. I see right through you, Tyler.
I know you do.
You're like a Ziploc.
Yeah, I know. I'm not.
And not the fun kind from Christmas that have designs on there.
Oh.
Just the plain clear ones.
Oh, really? Oh. that could be a little of a fun one. But anyway, so yeah, that's Truth. That's streaming on Netflix. I think it's a movie to check out, but I don't think I'll revisit it again. It was just
Dennis Quaid as Dan Rather. Oh no, sorry, Robert Redford as Dan Rather.
Oh wait,
Yeah,
maybe I
Robert
have
Redford.
heard of this.
Yeah.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, I think Robert Redford was really good in it as well. He was pretty solid. And then I watched Fritz the Cat again.
Oh, cool.
On that, I know I've picked that before, but I figured I'd mention it because it wasn't streaming for a while. Now it is. It's on Prime.
Oh, cool. It's hard to find for a long time.
Yeah, so it's on Prime, and I'm gonna read the plot because it pretty much is me. In the late 1960s, a pretentious, womanizing young cat drops out of college, starts a riot in Harlem, hits the road with an ex-girlfriend, and gets mixed up with domestic terrorists. I mean, that's pretty much the plot of my life.
Okay.
Who hasn't done that?
Minus the 1960s. I am a pretentious, womanizing young cat. So,
okay.
Yeah. This movie, directed by one of my favorite animators, Ralph Bakshi.
My favorite animator. Don't know his name.
I know his name. I just
have to read it.
I have a hard time pronouncing like names. Sue me.
Bakshi. Ralph Bakshi.
Yeah, Ralph Bakshi, who famously also did The Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Just great.
I don't think he did both of those.
He did one of them, at least.
He did Lord of the Rings. I know that much. I thought he did The Hobbit. I don't know.
He did Wizards.
I like his style of animation. But Fritz the Cat came out in 1972, and it is controversial. There's a lot of
they don't make them like they used to.
There's a lot of
racial stereotypes.
Yeah, there's a lot of racial.
Oh, that's a Jew.
And yeah, I mean, I remember watching this movie for the first time at a friend's house, and I was just amazed that they could make animation like that. Like, because I knew there was South Park, so I knew that there could be adult animation, but not like this. And so I really...
When did this come out?
1972. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, there is a lot of racist stuff in there, but I really like that the main character is a cat, and it's awesome. Go check that out on Amazon Prime.
That racist cat is awesome.
I love the racism.
I don't think Fritz is racist inherently.
No, just the entire production.
Yeah. I'm not inherently racist, okay?
Just mostly.
I wasn't born racist.
All right, Joseph.
I just became that way.
What do you got?
I got a few, and then we'll talk about Amelia Perez.
Yeah.
So this is a newer release. It came out at the end of 2024. Kind of a documentary. It's called Kunk on Life. Kunk on Life. It's a. She had a show.
Yeah.
On
Philomena Kunk
on Netflix. I mean, she has a history of shows.
Is it that the British girl who plays like a dumbass? Okay.
Yes. And so she had a series on Netflix that came out like a year before, I think.
Hella funny.
And then this is a feature movie. So it's like one. I thought it was going to be another series, but it's just one movie. And basically, she just she's interviewing like experts in whatever fields of like science, physics, historians,
like proper experts,
like actual people, like and just asking the most insane questions that like a child would ask, and like you wouldn't know how to answer it because it's so outlandish.
Mm-hmm.
She's like Sacha Baron Cohen
and
the Ali G show, or Borat.
And it's very, very obviously very cheeky. She has a lot of one-liners. Like one of the bigger ones is about, it wasn't from this, but it was from the show. Something like, the most important thing the Egyptians think you could do was die, because of the pyramids.
I'm in love with her. I swear to God, I wish she could be my wife.
Which was more culturally significant, the Renaissance or Single Ladies by Beyonce? How important are the words in Shakespeare's plays? Could you do it without words? She interviews in the documentary. She interviews like a theologist or someone who just studies religion, and she goes, "Is there a God?" And then he goes, "Yes." And she goes, "Oh, that was quick." And then she's like, so in the Bible said God created the universe. How do we know that Simon didn't create it? Like, what if there was another person named, like, God's brother Simon? Like, what if Simon just said that God created it? Could he be lying? It's just like something out of left field that just pulls the rug underneath all of these experts because they don't expect something like that to happen.
They've probably been interviewed by this type of person before, and then they kind of know how it's going to go, and they're going to flex their chops or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
then she says something like, let's see, I have one here. Medicine means we can treat everything from made-up diseases like the plague to modern epidemics like allergicness to bread.
Yeah. But this movie it's short. It's like an hour and 11 minutes. And it's just a fun movie.
What's it called again?
It's just Kunk on Life.
Kunk on Life. Okay.
I watched it. Yeah.
You think you watched it?
I think so.
Gosh, it's Kunk on whatever. Kunk on the world.
Kunk on Earth,
history.
Kunk on Life.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's on Netflix. That's very funny. I watched Smile 1. And that was okay.
Just okay?
It was okay. The acting and the writing wasn't great, but everything else was good. I don't quite understand the rules of the Smile Demon, because he like warps your reality, and then I'll spoil alert. I watched Smile 2 as well, and they kind of further explain it in Smile 2, but I'm still like unsure of what. Like, once you're infected with the smile, the Smile Demon, you're the only one who can see what's it's doing to you and how it warps your hallucinations or illusions or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, you're seeing one thing happen. What is the body doing?
Just stagnant. I think it's just going about its life in like a fugue state.
Because, like, at the end of Smile 1, she goes to the house. She's like confronting the demon. You think she's winning. And then spoiler, and then she does it. The house is on fire. She leaves. She goes back to Kyle Gallner's house, and then twist, you're still there at the house, and so it's like I can kind of see where that would like she's just dreaming this, right? It's just happening because they also allude to the fact that it messes with time, like in the second one especially. And so Smile 1 is okay. Streaming on Netflix.
Peacock?
No, Paramount Plus and Hulu.
Oh, okay.
Smile 2 streaming on also Paramount Plus is where I watched it. It doesn't say that for some reason. Smile 2, much better movie.
It's really good.
Acting is way better. The writing is better. In both these movies, there's a very gratuitous amount of shots where the camera's just going upside down or like
that's like Bruce was talking about
flying around. I'm like, all right, take it easy. You don't I know you have the gear. You don't have to use it for every shot.
Do you need to see Smile 1 in order to appreciate Smile 2, or are they both a standalone movie?
There's a direct follow-up from Smile at the end of Smile 1 to Smile 2, but that's basically the only connection between them.
It's a good movie to watch back to back like this. It's interesting that Joseph did it like that, but you don't have to.
No, you don't have to. But yeah, Smile 2, much better movie, much better situation, much better story because like she's a singer, and I saw the end coming though. Yeah, you see it.
It's like a great concept though.
It's like
you gotta say,
and like it's the ultimate. It's the ultimate
pass on
for the demon.
Yeah, demon's like, oh yeah.
How do I get as many people at the same time?
Yeah, unless she was at the Super Bowl, you couldn't get more.
Yeah, but overall the acting and like the effects were really really good. And the I guess like twists of like certain characters of like the whole time was good. And that's why I don't quite understand the rules.
You don't have to. Just
but it's frustrating.
Enjoy it. And be frustrated.
But I can't be frustrated and enjoy it at the same time.
Oh yes, you can. That's what you call the cucking. It's edging.
But yeah, I I just want to know more about.
Does the phrase cuck chair mean anything to you?
And also, it's a very bleak movie,
unfortunately.
And then it alludes. I feel like it's just gonna be like it's gonna be a franchise like Nightmare on Elm Street, because it's just gonna keep going because there's no clear way of like how you stop the chain.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they could just keep going.
Pick anyone in the audience.
You know, and then it's gonna like you have so many people there, so many different stories you can tell.
Exactly.
Like I wasn't there. I was getting popcorn. I walked back in. And
I'm so glad I missed that.
Everybody was traumatized. I don't have trauma. And then last night I watched The Rock.
Oh,
on Hulu.
First time?
Yeah.
Whoa.
The Rock.
The Rock.
Be very careful what you say.
The Rock.
What?
Nicolas Cage.
Sean Connery.
Okay.
Sean Connery.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know because I think there's multiple movies called The Rock, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
There's an actor. There's an actor named The Rock.
The Sean Connery one was what I was thinking. That was their first time watching it?
Yeah.
Wow.
And of like the Nicolas Cage, this is Jerry Bruckheimer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Con Air was also Jerry Bruckheimer?
Yep.
I feel like I like
this is directed by Michael Bay, produced by Jerry Bruckheimer.
Yeah, but the Jerry Bruckheimer's involved.
Yes.
I think I like Con Air more than The Rock.
Interesting.
I feel like The Rock was I feel like it was like a little long. I feel like a little too long. I like the story of Ed Harris and his reasoning. It was justifiable, and I like that whole aspect of it. And then his turn towards the end of the movie, Nicolas Cage's character was like zany, like a restrained zany, especially when you're first introduced to him.
This is his role that I think he fits in the best because like I don't see him as an action hero fighting sort of guy, and he's basically like a pencil pusher in this.
No, he's like a scientist basically.
Yeah, exactly.
He works for the FBI.
And they give him a gun, and he's like, oh, I don't know what to do with this, you know?
Yeah,
and it makes sense.
And Sean Connery, I liked him better when he had the long hair. But it was an entertaining movie for sure. But I think I like Con Air just a little bit more.
Put down the bunny rabbit.
Yeah, I think it's the Cage that I am ranking here.
That's a very fair assessment. If you're ranking Cage, Con Air is much better.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's on Hulu. And so if you haven't watched that, came out in 1986, directed by Michael Bay, then watch it. You could see the start of Michael Bay's camera movements. You know, he does it all the time. Bad Boys, especially the sweeping camera while the character's turning.
Yeah, the spinning around 360 shot.
The shit just got real.
The helicopter flying overhead shot.
Yeah. And so that's on Hulu. And then Amelia Perez.
Oh fuck.
And then Amelia Perez. I wanted to pull like some of the clips from the songs. But this movie, streaming on Netflix, it's up. It won for Best Musical Comedy, and it has strong like Oscar contention now.
Really?
Yeah.
Because before we went on air, you guys were describing the movie as like it was really bad.
It is really bad.
But it's an Oscar contender.
It's like the Crash of 2024 or 2020. Yeah, 2024.
The Best Picture Crash.
Like the most insane Oscar nominated or award-winning movie ever. Because it won Palme d'Or at Cannes.
Did it really?
It won. I'm pretty sure it won.
Wow.
And so this is directed by Jacques Audiard. It's a musical that's supposed to take place in Mexico, starring Carla Sofia Gasson, Zoe Saldana, Selena Gomez, Adriana Paz, Edgar Ramirez, and a bunch of other actors who I don't know.
At Cannes, he won the Palme d'Or.
Oh, okay.
Jacques Audiard. He also won the Queer Palm, Best Actress.
What is that?
Best Actress Ensemble Cast for Zoe Saldana, Selena Gomez, Carla Sofia Garcon, and Adriana Paz.
Yeah.
So he didn't like
No.
anti-streaming.
So basically, the plot is Rita, who's Zoe Saldana's character, is a lawyer working for a large law firm, who's more interested in getting criminals out of jail than bringing them into justice, and is hired by Manitas, which is the leader of this cartel in Mexico, and she's trans. So he wants to transition and leave the cartel life, essentially. And he's married.
Become a woman.
He's married and has 2 kids. And his wife is Selena Gomez.
Okay.
And it's the same actress playing the former self and her true self.
Yeah. They changed their name to Amelia Perez to live life as a woman after getting out of the drug game.
And she fakes the death of the cartel leader.
Yeah, her former self.
And Selena Gomez thinks that he's dead.
Her husband's
dead. And
dead.
the kids think that their dad is dead.
Yeah.
So for like 4 years after that happens, she's living whatever life. I don't know if she's still a cartel leader.
No.
She still has some power. She's actually in politics. She's like a senator or something in Mexico.
And Selena Gomez is completely
completely
ignorant to the fact that she's in a position of power.
They escaped to Switzerland or something.
Yes. So they put the wife and the 2 kids in basically witness protection, sort of.
But
they're like,
criminals.
your husband's life isn't being threatened, and we don't know 100% if he's dead or not, but he's missing. So you're gonna live out in Switzerland until we figure this out.
Okay, so they're completely shielded from any sort of news.
But the transition of the drug boss is not news to anybody. She starts living as Amelia Perez. It's a whole new person.
It's happening underground.
No one knows who this is except for Zoe Saldana.
Yeah,
she's her
and the doctors.
Yeah, naturally.
And the doctors.
What? It's a musical.
It's a musical.
It's a musical.
It's a musical.
Like a proper musical.
This seems so bizarre.
And I like musicals. Mm-hmm. I enjoy musicals. But the music in this movie is it sounds like something that when somebody says I hate musicals, this is what I imagine that they think all musicals sound like.
Well, I don't like musicals, so I'm assuming
you'll watch this and go, yeah, this is what I think of when I think of musicals.
It's awful. It's really, really terrible, awful music.
Every time that I thought, okay, this movie's not that bad, it was because there was long stretches of points between the songs.
Yeah.
And then they start singing something. I'm like, oh, motherfucker, this again.
Oh, they're singing again?
This again? And it's like, I'm all for the musical. If it's good and it makes sense and the song is necessary to drive the plot forward, or it tells you something interesting about the story.
Yeah.
So
like
you're not
Fiddler on the Roof.
Fiddler on the Roof, perfect example. And it's really hard to compare one of the greatest musicals of all time to this movie that just came out.
Yeah.
But here I am, and it's not Fiddler. It's nothing even close to that. And I'm going to give an example. I have that clip.
Is it better than Cats?
The music is not better than Cats.
The music's definitely not better than Cats, but I think overall, I felt just as dirty afterwards watching both. And I felt like Joseph said it last week, I felt like I was being pranked.
Yeah.
By the people that are saying this movie's good.
Yes.
Okay. Because it's not. So there's the lawyer is hired by the cartel boss to basically do all the legwork, set up the surgery, set up the hormone therapy, do all the stuff for me so that I can transition.
Yeah.
And he sends her off, because cartel boss he sends her off to other parts of the world to try to find the most world-renowned people to do this sex change operation. And she starts in Bangkok. And here's the song in Bangkok.
This is ridiculous.
Hello, very nice to meet you. I'd like to know let's say for me.
It's not.
I want to know it all. What is it about the
Yeah. As it goes on and on like that.
It's like, could you at least try to make it sound like a song?
I was gonna say, like, and this is an Oscar contender.
Yes,
it won for best song
at the Golden Globes.
At the Golden Globes, yeah.
That just from that small sample of a clip that I heard, I can't.
Over Wicked, which I haven't seen, but by all accounts I've heard is like vastly better in terms of the musical aspect of the story and the movie.
I think the problem with Wicked, though, they're not original songs because it was from the Broadway play.
But they're both still nominated in the same category.
Oh, well. So that, admittedly, that part of the song that I just played is the worst of the movie.
Okay.
So the other songs are bad, but they're not that bad.
Yeah,
that was cherry picked to show some of the worst. And
Selena Gomez's song when she's like in her bedroom, god awful. Mm-hmm. Her Spanish from everything everywhere else I've read, who like she's not a native speaker, and like
it wasn't distracting to me. But if you're a native speaker, it would make sense, I guess.
There was a comment I read. It was like English people, I can't understand what she's saying, and Spanish people, us either. There was another.
Oh my God.
One of the other songs, or a moment in a song. Well, the whole song was terrible. Is when she goes to another doctor in Israel, and they're having a conversation.
Yeah, Lady. The song's called like Lady.
Yeah, Lady.
Yeah, and
I know you did a lot of studies.
There's a number of songs too where they do that round robin sort of singing, where one person sings a verse, the other person sings a verse, and they sing their verse together.
Yeah,
and sometimes that's a really impressive song, but that one was distracting.
There was a moment in the song where the writing of the song and the delivery of the lyrics was just like, it felt like they were like really trying to like think about it type of moment. You know, like that meme with the guy going like, think about it.
Yeah.
Because the doctor's saying like, I can change the body, but I can't change the mind. Right.
Yeah.
That's like what he's saying.
Man, that's deep.
And then, she goes, changing the body changes the society. Changing the society changes the soul. Changing the soul changes the society, changes it all. And it's like, what is this? What is this? You think you're like really hammering a point in.
Yeah.
And
it's a head scratcher.
It's just like this really convoluted way of delivering a message in a really terrible musical number.
Can I say this too? You want to go to the three of us?
Oh, yeah. That's
right. It's important to have like trans stories, or like trans representation. We're telling a story specifically about, the trans life and, transitioning and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, we need to know what the other side, that life is like, so you can sympathize with it and sympathize the difficulties that people are going through, just trying to like get society to accept that I feel like a different person in my body. It's admirable. It's respectable. Tell the stories, get them out there. But one of the funniest and most accurate reviews that I saw on Letterboxd says, I support trans rights and trans wrongs. And this is terrible.
Trans wrongs.
Because it's about the trans story doesn't necessarily make it a good movie, B doesn't make it entertaining, and C doesn't mean that it's done well.
The subject matter isn't what is a detriment to the movie. It's just, it's a bad movie.
Well, the actual like brass tacks of the plot's not what makes it bad. That's a really interesting story.
Yeah, it is.
Drug cartel boss transitioning to live life as a woman and what that means. But it's handled so poorly, in my opinion, because after she transitions, she becomes Emilia Perez.
Yeah.
And finds Zoe Saldana's character 4 years later, and they're having this whole conversation. The lawyer doesn't recognize her. And it's like, it is a true transformation from before till now. It's like, wow, that is kind of pretty impressive. The face makeup that they put on the actress to get them to look like the mob boss or the cartel boss was like facial scarring and crazy gold teeth and stuff. And you're like, wow, it's unrecognizable when she's presenting as Emilia Perez.
Mm-hmm.
But then she becomes like this folk hero to help find the victims of cartel murders
and missing people.
Yeah, like missing people. They're like, oh yeah, these are missing people. Probably they got killed by the cartel and buried in a shallow grave somewhere. We're gonna help all the families find the bodies of the victims so they have closure. It's like, bitch, you were the one doing that.
Yeah.
That was you.
I was gonna say
for fucking decades. That was you.
Calling the kettle black.
Ah, God, it's so. They want you to feel like this character is the sympathetic folk hero
just because, like, they transitioned.
Yeah, transitioned, so I'm a new person. It's like, you still lived your life as this other person, and you still were a fucking asshole.
Is the person
Murderer.
is the person actually trans, like the actor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Which is it's always when I think of that, it's like I'm sure that's not conducive to their mental health struggles and journeys to have them basically made up as a man for the first half of the movie, first third of the movie or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyways, so the whole trans story is not the problem. It's that they want us to be, and it's not just feel bad for them. It's like truly they're a hero now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After the transition.
I'm a good person now.
It's like great right for your wrongs. They don't have they don't have any parts of the story where it's like, hey, I feel bad about the things I did before in my past life. You know, this is how I make amends. You know, if they did, it was so offhanded and throwaway.
Just an undeserving redemption arc.
Yes, that's a best way to put it.
Well, the director, I think, is what bothers me the most because he did zero research. He went on to say that, like, I don't need to do research. I know everything I need to know. That's what he said about the movie.
Arrogant asshole.
And it's just like the level of disrespect for like two different worlds. You have the world of Mexico where it's like you know nothing about, or you have whatever knowledge you've already gathered up from living your life just offhandedly, and then the trans story, which is like I feel like it's not a story for someone like that to tell.
Yeah, a straight man who did no research and has no like. There's no what's the word? Advisors, you know, to be able to say, okay, that's accurate to the community.
It felt like music again.
Yes, or Dix the Musical.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a cross between Dix the Musical, the tone deaf nature of music with the like bad presentation of Dix. Because in Dix the Musical, they're doing it on purpose. They're trying to piss you off. Like they're rubbing the wildness of it and the over the top nature of the songs and everything in your face. With Emilia Perez, it's heartfelt and it's played straight and it's trying to pull your heartstrings, and none of it worked for me at all.
Yeah.
You got some comments from Joe. I can't read them.
I saw
right
my
now.
name on the chat, but I didn't look. I'm sure it's disparaging to me.
He says, if I'm judging people based on their native language skills, Tyler would really get it every week on the show.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Spanish stuff with Selena Gomez didn't bother me at all. I'm sure if it's
Yeah, I mean, as non-speakers, it's hard to pick up on. I mean, you can just only base it on other people's reactions who are native speakers, and they say it's terrible. So
yeah, and then he also says here, it's not about redemption. Megalomaniacs are narcissists, and they can't see that they were wrong. Harsh dictators doing eye-rolling, but actually good PR is pretty common. Sure, I could see that. This seems like something that would actually happen. Like El Chapo was loved in his community.
Yeah.
But he also did a lot of good for the community after the fact. And it's like, that's what people sometimes think of first with him. So accurate, still not entertaining. And it's like, it's trying to get the audience on board with it too, which I disagree with.
It's a tale as old as time. Like you go back to like the Italian mob bosses in New York.
That's it.
In New Jersey. Like they do great things for their communities. And then in the dark, they're breaking people's legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll just say it's not a good movie.
Okay.
It's not a good movie.
I'll co-opt that, and I will say that we are not of that community. So
either.
Yeah. So it's take our reviews with a grain of salt. Mitch Burns, listener to the show, is in the LGBT community, and he gave it 3.5 stars and says, "What an entertaining movie with a stunning performance by 2 female leads. Very creative. It is far from perfect, and it had its fair share of issues, but a memorable story." So above mid-level, good, awesome. So
I don't know, Mitch. That one little sample of the song I just heard.
He says it was far from having no flaws. And then William Lindis, host of the Movie Bears podcast, says 3 stars. Interesting ideas held back by a too brisk pacing. And yeah, so like those are 2 people from that are of the community watching the movie from the community. And they are giving it positive reviews, overall positive, not glowing, but overall positive.
Yeah.
And then
I'm gay.
I am not. So my opinion should be taken with a grain of salt about a movie like this. And Joe Bridges gave it 4 stars. He says, this is vastly underhyped even though it's winning awards. I don't think you'll see a more unique musical, and this one will actually stand the test of time, unlike other musicals of 2024.
Interesting.
And it's
Sounds
like
very divisive.
How many musicals were there in 2024?
Wicked.
2.
I mean, I'm sure there's more, but
2.
I would imagine he's probably referencing Wicked because that's the one that's stunning everybody right now.
Yeah.
So I respect that. It was not for me, and I wish I didn't watch it. I wish I wouldn't have spent the time on it, but it was fun to talk about. So please don't cancel us. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. So my streaming picks. I decided to do a throwback and watch a movie that I knew was going to be dated, specifically for the fact that it was going to be a dated movie. From 1995, this is The Net, starring Sandra Bullock, streaming on Netflix. Do you guys know about this movie?
I've heard of it.
I've heard of it, but never seen it, no.
The year is 1995. Internet is becoming a bigger portion of our society.
Okay.
And people don't know what it is. That's the reality.
The internet?
No, they don't. They call it the net.
Huh?
That's what it was. It was colloquially the net.
The net.
Or the web.
Get the net.
Yeah.
The web, yeah.
What are you doing? I'm on the web.
Yep.
The World Wide Web. The WWW stands for
the WWW.
World Wide Web, you see.
Yeah.
And let's see here. Is
you say dated in what way?
All the terminology, what basically people think the internet is, versus what it really is.
Yeah.
So here, I'll give you the tagline. It says her driver's license, her credit cards, her bank accounts, her identity deleted.
Oh, Jesus.
Angela Bennett is a freelance computer systems analyst who tracks down software viruses. At night, she hooks up with the internet and chats to others surfing the net. While debugging a new high-tech game for a cyber friend, she comes across a top-secret program and becomes the target of a mysterious organization who will stop at nothing to erase her identity and her existence in order to protect the project. So it's like she might have discovered some large-scale like hacking ring that's disguised as an internet security ring being sold to, or internet security program being sold to government agencies. Mm-hmm. And then they make her life a living hell because of it.
Yeah.
Like she's out of the country when it all goes down, and they check her out of the hotel. And then when she goes to the embassy, somebody stole her bag, and she goes to the embassy to get a replacement passport. It's all her information, but the name is changed on it. And so she just signs as the person. She's like, well, yeah, I'm Angela Bennett, but this says Ruth Cruz or whatever.
This really sounds like a 90s movie.
It's super, super 90s. But it also has Jeremy Northam in it, who is one of the guys from Happy Texas, one of the 2 duos from Happy Texas that we reviewed on the show. Dennis Miller, Diane Baker, Ken Howard. There's a couple of people you recognize, but no like huge name stars except for Dennis Miller and Sandra Bullock. And she's really good in this, but it's super cheesy, super dated, and it almost feels like a boomer take on the internet.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
But it's like people didn't even know what chat rooms were a lot of times back then.
Yeah.
You might have a few friends that were into chat rooms or whatever, but you just didn't know all about it. So it's like she takes a vacation and goes to some beach, and she meets some other guy who's supposedly a cybersecurity guy, and they're talking about this and that and being system analysts and everything. And she's like, "Look at us, what's it come to? We're on a beach and the most beautiful person in the world. I'd rather have my modem here than a margarita."
That line sounds familiar.
It's probably from the trailer.
Yeah.
So it's
had my modem here.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's a really fun movie to watch, like in hindsight, 20 years later.
Yeah.
So that is, I guess that's 30 years. 30 years later.
Yep.
So that's streaming on Netflix. That's The Net from 1995. Good time capsule piece.
Nice.
I watched a movie that I'd never heard of before that none of my friends had logged on Letterboxd. From 2022, it's called Crawl Space, directed by L. Gustavo Cooper. After witnessing a brutal murder in a cabin, a man hides in a crawl space while the killers scour the property for a hidden fortune. As they draw nearer, he must decide if the crawl space will be his tomb or the battleground in the fight for survival. So
awesome.
Yeah, so he's a plumber. He goes off site to fix up someone's like leaky pipes in the cabin, so, something like that. And he's in the crawl space working on something, and he witnesses a murder through like the vents.
Oh man!
And they know that he's in there, and they think that there's a treasure hidden in the house, and there is. And it's like a mob treasure sort of thing, like a stash house, basically.
Yeah.
So it's starring Henry Thomas, the kid from E.T. is the main character. He's the guy.
Oh.
He's the plumber.
You're just hoping he would die.
We watched the trailer for it. Brianna and I watched the trailer for it. And there's a line that he's talking back to the assailants through the floorboards or whatever. And he's like, I'm a plumber. I deal with pieces of shit every day like you. We're like, yeah, we're in. We're watching this movie. It's the worst. It's bad.
Oh, it is?
Yes, but it's really fun.
Oh.
It's this total like top tier like entertaining trash.
Cool.
Heather's reminiscing about the net. No one leaves the house. No one has sex anymore. The net is the ultimate condom. Actual lines from the movie. Yes, it's great. No, Joseph Bridges, this is not a remake of the 1980s movie Crawl Space with Klaus Kinski. This is a direct-to-TV, like, Walmart bargain basement trash, and it's super fun. So he's basically... There's a line from this movie, too, because he's a retired some sort of special forces guy, so he starts fashioning weapons out of his, like...
his tool,
he makes
pipes
like, pipe
and
bombs and shit like that,
Okay.
and, you know... And it's, at one point, one of the guys who's up top is like, you don't get it, boss. This guy's ex-military. He was in the National Guard.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, it's just really kind of cheesy and dumb, but it's streaming on Paramount Plus, and it's a fun way to pass exactly 90 minutes. And then the last movie I watched of the week is called A Real Pain.
Oh.
Getting a lot of buzz right now.
Mm-hmm.
Written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg. It's also written by somebody else too, but I don't see it here in the credits. Starring Jesse Eisenberg as David Kaplan, Kieran Culkin as Benji Kaplan, or Benjamin, and they're cousins. They are born 3 weeks apart. They may as well be brothers, but they're cousins. This also starring Will Sharp from season 2 of White Lotus, Jennifer Grey, Lisa Sadvoy, a couple of people that you might recognize, but
Jennifer Grey from Dirty Dancing.
I think that's her. Let me see. Yep, that's Jennifer Grey.
Oh,
I didn't even realize it was her until after the fact. But she's just playing like a middle-aged woman because she is a middle-aged woman now.
Oh, okay.
And the plot of this is that they are estranged cousins that used to be best friends, like brothers, and they don't see each other almost anymore. And the one, Jesse Eisenberg, he's kind of put together. He sells ad space on the internet, like internet ads. He works in New York City. He's got a wife and a child. And he's kind of got his life together, but he's very stressed out and very kind of buttoned up and, you know, anxious and nervous. Very Jesse Eisenberg-like. Mm-hmm. And then Kieran Culkin is the kind of nomadic, hippie sort of, not hippie, but like modern, laissez-faire, layabout sort of a cousin. And their grandma Dory died, and she was a Polish refugee in the war, and she left this small town in Poland due to, obviously, you know, the Third Reich coming through.
Yeah, those events.
Yes, those events. And they decide to take
MAGAs, Proud Boys, what have you.
Those guys, yeah. And so the two of them decide to take this guided tour through Poland to basically like a Holocaust memorial tour. And they're going to see concentration camps and the ghettos and learn about the history from their family, from Grandma Dory.
Okay.
And they said they're going to take a small detour at some point and go actually see the village and the building she grew up in.
And it was a real pain.
No, Kieran Culkin is a real pain because he's a fucking prick. He is so...
Oh, so he was the real pain the whole time?
Yes, he was. Yeah. The real pain was the cousin that we found along the way. We got a new person in the chat.
Who?
Monosyllabic. I think that's how it's pronounced. Things I picked up recently. You're discussing a real pain. Yes, we're in streaming picks right now. Tyler's already given his streaming picks, so is Joseph. I'm on mine. And you got here via David Vinch live tag. Cool. Well, welcome to the show. Yeah, we do this every Saturday at 12:30, and we do news in the beginning of the show, and then streaming picks at the end of the show, and we're in that now. And then we're going to do the second episode in a bit, which is our review of Flypaper.
Flypaper.
So this movie just hit Hulu. It's streaming on Hulu. It's getting a lot of buzz. People are
won at Golden Globes.
Yeah, for like best actor.
I think so.
Kieran Culkin.
I think so.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And it's written and directed by Jesse Eisenberg, which is another kind of part of the story. And Kieran Culkin is fantastic in this. He's really good. I think that Jesse Eisenberg is being overshadowed by his performance because the character is more interesting and he's more outspoken and like boisterous. And he's like this guy who doesn't censor himself, everybody's a fucking piece of shit. Oh, rich people are fucking stupid and fuck this, fuck that. But he's also very in touch with his emotion and shows it, whether that's good or bad. There's a lot of, and it's a somber sort of tour. These people are touring these sites of tragedy.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not appreciated. But everybody deals with the trauma and the reflection in their own way. So I'll give you an example. Like they meet up at the airport and you see Jesse Eisenberg's character is calling him constantly. He calls him like 6 times and leaves him voicemails like 6 times. Hey, I'm almost there. I'm on my way. We hit a little traffic. So, Waze said it was going to be, 12:26 and it's actually going to be like 12:37 now. So, don't panic if I'm not there exactly on time. Okay, it's my last message. Hey, buddy, I know I told you it was my last message, but I'm leaving another one because traffic cleared up and, I'll probably be there right at 12:36 now. So he's that character. And then Kieran Culkin he's like, hey, when we get to Poland, I got a surprise for us. Some good shit. And he's like, are you bringing drugs to Poland? Yeah, they don't care about that there. And he's like, yeah, they do. I think they do. We shouldn't do that. And he mailed a brick of weed to himself overseas. So when he gets to the hotel, he's got a package for him. And he's like, there it is. And he's like, let's go smoke some weed in Poland. So nice. He's that type of character. And for my money, I think that Jesse Eisenberg is the better performance in this. His wound up tight character who's like shaking with fear over every social interaction he's played so well. There's a scene where he storms out of dinner and goes back to the hotel and he's shaking while he's walking. And you can see how uncomfortable he is in his skin, the character. And it's like a testament to Jesse Eisenberg's acting. Kieran Culkin is undoubtedly fantastic in this. And between the two of them, it's hard for me to honestly pick between the two. They're both really, really well acted. And the movie is shot in an interesting way too. A lot of classical music. It truly is like a tour of Europe that you're going through, and you're seeing all these scenes and seeing these sights and stuff. And every other scene with Kieran Culkin's character, you're like, man, I hate this guy. And like, this guy. Then the next scene, you're like, this guy's pretty great. And the way he delivered the message sucks, but the message was great. Yeah, so you're kind of back and forth with it, like the rest of the characters. But he's undoubtedly a magnetic character, and it's performed just fantastically by Kieran Culkin. So, I mean, no surprise there. He's really good in everything.
Yeah, I almost watched it last night because I saw it was on Hulu. But
it's worth the time.
But yeah, it's hard. Deanna doesn't like Jesse Eisenberg, so yeah.
I think she might like him in this.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
still. He sounds like he's still neurotic and.
Yeah, he's not the main character.
But he's not a know-it-all.
No.
He's not a Lex
I think
Luthor.
It's that. That's what bothered her.
Yeah, the Social Network Eisenberg.
Zombieland as well.
Zombieland. Yeah.
Lex Luthor.
He's
yeah. The actual genius.
He's quiet in this and unassuming, and there's a scene where he's kind of lashing his emotions out about his cousin and how he takes over every room he walks in, but he hates him and he envies him at the same time. And the delivery of that line, that whole monologue was really good. Really good. So, high recommend. I still don't think it's an amazing movie, but the performances are fantastic. I gave it 3.5 stars, bordering on 4. But it was just the performance between the two are amazing, and it was a really tight movie too, not super long. So that's everything I got.
Cool.
Right.
You guys got anything?
No. Rest in peace, David Lynch. He's with us in spirit.
Yes, we have
literally in spirit. I can see him in the corner.
What does he sound like?
Don't
you dare! Don't you dare!
Well, I'm gonna take a break from my terrible impressions.
Yeah, we can do your.
Workshop him more.
You can do your bad David Lynch impression next week.
Enough time will happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
You think David Lynch would like that or hate that?
I think he would like it.
I think he would like it, yeah.
I think he would like me as a person, even.
Yeah.
Well, I don't get that far.
He would say do something with yourself. Don't just pretend like you're all these
Get
different
off
characters.
your phone.
Yeah, step 1, ban TikTok. Don't worry, tomorrow will be. Step 2, go start a revolution.
Yep.
We want more guitar songs on Instagram.
Okay, well.
I saw one the other day.
Yeah?
I want another one.
Okay. All right.
You and Jack are in competition now between who can post the most.
Yes!
I know.
You should collab.
Yes.
All right, well.
$10 for who...
You should do an Oasis song.
Whoever gives... There you go. You guys do it.
I did learn a Wonderwall, so
Oh, God.
I can post that.
Okay, great.
Tender.Dracula.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. So thank you to all of our cool-ass yard duties. Those are our subscribers over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather, Michael, Steven, and Chris. Heather's in the chat. Haven't seen... Oh, Steven's birthday was just the other day, too.
Happy birthday, Steven.
Yeah, what's up, buddy? Haven't seen him on the stream for a while, but I know he's listening. And it's here for you, the stream, every Saturday, 12:30. We got a new participation in the chat, monosyllabic. Very cool. Thanks for stopping over and saying hi. But if you want to watch the more produced version with the leveling and whatnot kind of fixed, and every Monday and every Wednesday, those are released. Gavin Tatters on Monday, reviews on Wednesday. Until next time. Thank you to everybody for joining us and everybody in the chat. Follow us later on in today or later on in the week as we review Flypaper, which is Michael, a.k.a. Angry Otter's pick from the wheel. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class. And please leave us a voicemail at 209-283-1716. Kind of had a drought with the voicemails. So, yeah.
And follow us on Twitter at Podcast MCFC and on TikTok for not too much longer.
All right.
See you.
We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.
See you. This is awkward. Where the hell is it?
Good job, Joseph.
time for class.
Class is in session!
Roll call!
Bueller.
I'm gonna be late for class.
Bueller.
Am I hallucinating here? Just what in the hell do you think you're doing?
I'm late for class.
You are mine now. You belong to me.
Did you study for the test?
No more complaining. No more Mr. Kim left to go to the bathroom. Nothing. There is no bathroom.
Hello, classmates. Welcome to another episode of Middle Class Film Class Movie Review Edition. I'm your host for today, Pete.
I'm Tyler.
And I'm Joseph.
And today we're going to be watching a movie that was chosen by a Patreon member from the Wheel of Destiny. Today we're watching Flypaper.
Thanks for choosing Credit International. How may I help you?
Hold on.
Absolutely. Is there anything else I can do for you today, sir?
You're about to be robbed.
Huh?
That's a robbery! Hey, what do you think you're doing here? What's it look like, man? We're robbing the bank.
You're here for the vaults, right? You guys said something about the ATM?
Maybe.
So then, what's the problem?
Are you seriously suggesting that we rob the same bank?
Yeah. Why not?
This guy's nuts.
All right, this bank opens at 5 a.m. By that time, my colleagues and I will be long gone.
You will not try to escape. You will not make noise.
This is the most pathetic group of hostages I've ever seen.
Already we're behind schedule. Our number 3 guy, Lancelot, is a psycho. We got 2 hillbillies in the lobby playing with weapons-grade plastic explosives.
How many banks have you robbed?
Like dozens.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I'm looking for a way out.
Did you not hear the part where they said they would kill us?
Oh my God, you like me?
I do not like you. Oh my God, I don't like you.
I really didn't think I had a shot.
It's like extra sad when a hot chick dies. When an ugly chick dies, their life probably sucked anyway, so it's no big deal.
Somebody murdered her, and they're gonna kill again soon.
Did you murder the hot chick?
No, we didn't, and I suppose you wankers didn't either, right?
Nope.
What is happening?
There's only one possibility. This isn't a bank robbery. This is an organized ambush.
Oh, come on.
If they want to kill us, we kill them first.
Cool plan.
We're never gonna get out of this bank alive. What? 8,000 things going on in my mind right now, and I have to think about the kids too? Are you kidding me?
Please don't kill me on the toilet.
Flypaper.
Girls some braces? $9 grand a pop. No. And they call us criminals. We should have been dentists.
Flypaper from 2011, directed by Rob Minkoff. The name probably doesn't ring a bell, but he's directed a movie that I guarantee you guys have all seen, The Lion King. The original.
Is that right?
Yeah, 1994 is The Lion King.
Yes.
Wow. Also, Stuart Little 2, The Haunted Mansion from 2003 with Eddie Murphy. The Forbidden Kingdom, Flypaper, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, and Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank in 2022.
And 1 episode of Leverage.
Yeah. So this is also written by the writing duo of John Lucas and Scott Moore, who most famously are the writers for The Hangover.
Oh, really?
They also did 21 and Over, A Bad Mom's Christmas, and Jexi most recently.
Jexi?
Jexi, Jexi. Never heard
It's
of
like
it. Don't know
Lexi combined with Jess.
Yeah. This is starring Patrick Dempsey as Trip, Ashley Judd as Caitlin, the teller, Tim Blake Nelson as Peanut Butter, Mekhi Phifer as Darian, Matt Ryan as Gates, Jeffrey Tambor as the bank manager, Gordon Blythe, John Ventimiglia as Weinstein, Pruitt Taylor Vince as Jelly, and a bunch of other people. Rob Hubel's in this, Octavia Spencer's in this. Who is the
Adrian Martinez?
Yeah, Adrian Martinez, Mr. Clean. His character, that's the only name he's given.
Yeah,
they call me Mr. Clean. Rob Bolton, James Dumont. So a bunch of people who you've probably recognized. Some people you may not know the name of, but it's a pretty fun caper of a movie. It's like an action, clever caper sort of movie, and it's all set within a bank, a single bank. So the tagline says 2 sets of bank robbers, 1 very sticky heist. A man caught in the middle of 2 simultaneous robberies at a bank desperately tries to protect the teller with whom he's secretly in love.
It's kind of
not so secret.
Yeah, and also
they just met.
He also proclaims his love for her at the very end.
That implies that like he's known about her.
Yeah. So this is my first time watching. All your guys' first time watching.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this was recommended for by Angry Otter Reacts, who is a ever-present member in our chat. Was with us every single week. We love him. He's one of our cool-ass yard duties as well. And Trip is very monk-esque. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah, because he's like a neurotic sort of hypochondriac-ish Rain Man, you know.
Oh, I thought he was talking about like Buddhist monk.
No, Adrian Monk.
Okay.
I think that's the guy's name, Adrian Monk.
I don't know.
Tony Shalhoub's character in the USA series. Also, a little bit of Nicolas Cage and Matchstick Men, like obsessive compulsive, obsessed with numbers. But yeah, so this was recommended by Angry Otter, and the reasoning he's given us, he sent us a message here in the chat, because I thought you guys hadn't seen it, and it's one of my favorite comedies. It's got a stellar cast and intricate storyline. I do love the cast. And it is funny. It took me a little bit to get on the level of the comedy, but once it kind of settled in, I thought it was there was a lot of really good moments. So Tyler, this is your first watch. Do you want to give us your initial thoughts on Flypaper?
Well, after I watched the movie, I pretty much had a full-blown existential crisis.
Wow. It sounds like you predicted it in the chat.
Yeah. But in all seriousness, I thought this movie was pretty like mid. Like it was definitely a mid movie. The scope wasn't great. Like it was just a really mid movie, which I've always championed for. And
so you're saying that in a complimentary way?
Correct. Yeah.
It was mid compliment.
Yeah. In parentheses.
Yeah. And so I think the weaker aspects of Flypaper to me was just the overall like twists and turns of the story. I won't say it's predictable, but like when the twist does happen, you're like, of course this would happen. Of course it was this. Of course it was that. Not like saying I could predict it, but the way the twists were executed was very kind of like in like a lot of movies where they have like those like whodunit sort of plots. And yeah, I mean, I was entertained. It was a, you know what? Strangely enough, for Angry Otter, I thought this was a really good Saturday morning movie. I had my breakfast burrito. Yeah, I was all snuggled up in a blanket watching this movie, and it felt very monk like. You said.
Have you watched that show?
No, I mean like monk, like a Buddhist monk. I felt very Zen like.
Oh,
interesting dual meaning.
Yeah, I thought it was a fine movie. So
you enjoyed yourself this morning watching it before the show?
Correct. Yeah, that's how with every movie that we review on the show, I watch it the morning of.
Okay, very nice, Joseph. What's your thoughts?
I had a good time watching it. I liked the premise. It reminded me of Clue.
Yeah.
Single location, kind of like you're trying to figure out what's going on. It was like at first there's just two bank robberies happening at the same time, just coincidentally. And then the story keeps going. And for a good part, I thought Trip was in on it.
Yeah, me too.
And then in the third act of the movie, you get a little bit more insight and hints as to like who is this drum, Visalis drum, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And I'm like, at first I'm like, oh, okay, it's him. He's kind of like the outlier here. He's like the zany guy. He has meds that he's not on. And then a part of me is like, oh no, it's Ashley Judd. That's
what I was thinking most
she's
of the
drum.
time, yeah.
She's drum. And I was like, because it also, I feel like there's a part in that third act where it kind of leads you to believe that like now she's the one. She's deflecting now.
Yeah, exactly.
And then spoiler alert, we're just gonna jump right to the end here. It's Jeffrey Tambor.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was a little disappointed. To be honest, because he didn't have a whole lot of screen time or dialogue much. There was one instance where he's like, I'm just gonna I'm just gonna go to my office, get something really quick.
Yeah.
And that was the one moment that was like the suspicious moment.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, maybe it could have been him. You know, when they're talking about who killed these two guys, who killed Weinstein and
I think it was
the other
guy.
guy.
Weinstein and the woman.
Yeah, and then the computer guy was the first guy who got killed, right?
No, it was
the guy who played Booster in Jingle All the Way.
Yeah, no, it was the FBI agent was killed first. In the
Right,
opening.
I guess after that, yeah.
I don't remember if he got killed first or the blonde woman got killed first. I think the blonde woman got killed first.
And overall, like it felt like the comedy of it and the style of like filmmaking. It has like the look of it has the look of like a kind of an indie comedy. But the cast is pretty good. I mean, you got Tim Blake Nelson, Patrick Dempsey, and Ashley Judd. What feels like to me anyway, like pretty, and Jeffrey Tambor.
Yeah.
Like heavier hitters, not necessarily like heavy hitters, but just like people who would cost a dime.
Yeah.
To be on your set. And but the style of it felt very indie, and the story is very contained, like kind of like an indie movie. And the comedy and the aesthetic of it, I feel like it was of the time of 2011. I feel like his comparison might be weird, but like Rock and Rolla is like a offshoot Guy Ritchie movie.
Okay.
It's like not like when you think of Guy Ritchie, you think of like Snatch.
Yeah,
it's
Lock,
like
Stock.
Usually the first thing that comes to mind.
Yeah.
And then Rock and Roll is kind of like a budgeted version of those movies.
Is
it? I mean, it's what it feels like.
Is it a musical?
It's not a musical.
Okay. I always thought it was a musical.
It's not a musical.
I've never seen it. Well, now I gotta watch it.
It has a bigger scope.
Oh shit.
It has a bigger scope than this movie, but I feel like they're kind of in the same genre of like era of movies because I think they came out around the same time. But I would agree. I would say that this is a little bit more than mid. I had a good time watching it and more about the figuring it out. I didn't really like the oh, you're in love with me type thing. I didn't like that part of it. Just kind of like
throwing it in at the end.
Just like no, they're kind of like forcing this weird relationship.
Yeah.
Story wise, but the peanut butter and jelly, they are good. They're entertaining.
Yeah.
And the mystery of it all was entertaining. But overall, yeah, it was slightly above mid. Compliment.
Nice. I think I'm probably right around that same level as you, Joseph. Maybe even a little bit warmer on it. The very beginning, as I liked the animated opening sequence.
Yeah,
that was a lot
cool.
of fun. And then once you get Patrick Dempsey interacting with Ashley Judd as the teller with Octavia Spencer right there, I was like, oh, this is gonna be fun. They're kind of like almost catcalling them silently. And they're like, ooh, hot guy coming into the office. And some of like the editing and the ADR and like the pacing of that conversation seemed like they were really rushing through that instead of letting the characters breathe so that you can get to know the characters. So I was like, oh, we're in dangerous territory here. This could be a really bad movie. But it quickly turned around. Like once it doesn't take very long until the action starts, which I really appreciated. And it's like the heist happens, two separate sets of criminals are coming in, and you're presumed that Patrick Dempsey is the third. And you're like, it just kind of leads you to believe that. You're like, why is he counting like this? He's trying to waste your time. He's waiting for something to come.
Yeah.
The partner's going to smash through the door and hold him up or whatever. So you're kind of left to believe that there's even more action on the horizon and something's going to turn. And he's berating her about, is that in Italy? Oh no, that's Brazil or whatever.
And it's like, is that Chile?
Chile, that's it. Is it Chile? No, it's Brazil. Oh, okay. Well, okay. How long have you been married? Or how long have you been engaged? And he's like asking all these details, and you're like, what is up with this guy? Is he just fucking with her, or is he like that? And then you realize that he is a neurotic dude who he's kind of like House or
it's like a Sherlock.
Yeah. But like autistic or something.
I really did like that they leaned more into Trip being like this weird dude.
Yeah, I appreciated it. Yeah. I think that he's the standout. Like Patrick Dempsey, I've never not liked him in anything, but I've never kind of thought of him as an impressive actor. Mm-hmm. He always just seems like a charmingly good-looking guy that gets by on good looks and his unoffensive, kind of front that he puts out in movies.
Yeah.
But I really liked him in this. I think the sequence when he gets to the FBI agent, the dead guard, right after the kind of the ATM second explosion doesn't go off, they kind of force him to do the bomb. In that whole sequence when he's trying to reenact everything in his head and he's like blocking everybody out, everybody's got their guns pulled on him and he's really digging in and he's like, well, we'll come over here and this has got the line of sight and everybody's got the guns on him and he just doesn't give two shits about it. I really liked him and I think that was a really nice, all-encompassing, like, this is what the character is about.
Yeah.
Sort of a moment. And then clearly Tim Blake Nelson steals the show comedically as Peanut Butter. He's so funny. He's so funny.
Yeah.
Definitely playing a version of himself from, take whatever Southern accent you can pick out. Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yeah, I was going to say Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Or a number of other movies.
Buster Scruggs.
He plays the country bumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
I was laughing my ass off when they're trying to get tips from Mekhi Phifer about how to be a better villain.
Yeah,
he's like, no, I don't want to hear about your past heists. You don't need to tell me about that, so I can't squeal on you later if we get caught. And he's like, and fellas, always wear a mask when you're doing a bank robbery. And what's with the tattoos? You're covered. You need to cover yourself up. These are identifying markers.
Oh, you like them?
Yeah, you like them? Watch this. You can bind me, but it ain't gonna hold.
That was the stupidest.
I'm like,
fucking line.
the way he says that line is like this.
I don't think he got it.
A really impactful and deep message.
Yeah,
like that. Let's do it again. Listen, you could bind me.
It's like, no, I get it.
You can try and bind me, but it ain't gonna hold.
Which that little interaction kind of alludes to like the whole motive for bringing them all there, right? It's like,
yeah, that's true.
It's like, so I can't squeal on you, and that's the reason why they're all there.
Yeah, and specifically that would be that's their MO, is they're bumbling idiots.
Yeah.
The other thing I really liked about the movie was that, much like John Wick built this sub-universe within the world of the movie that's like, oh, it's the Continental, and you pay with the gold coin, it's a special thing, and there's a secret kind of underground, almost currency of assassins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. With this one, it's like, you're ranked.
Yeah, you're ranked. I thought that was really
That was great. And they'd hop on the Facebook for bank robbers. And there's not just bank robbers, but also cybersecurity threats and all this kind of stuff. You're like, that's so fun.
Yeah.
So as soon as that popped up, you're like, oh, actually, Judd's one of the villains. I guarantee it, because it says, oh, she's pretty good for a girl.
Yep.
And then the whole time I'm like, okay, who's Vaselis Drum? Vaselis.
Yeah, once you get the name. Yeah.
Yeah, well, who's Vaselis Drum now? And someone's got to be this guy. And I was also disappointed with the Jeffrey Tambor pick.
Yeah.
He didn't. And Tambor's got it. Like, he's got a menacing, villainous way about him. So he could do it. But when the turn happened, none of that showed. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like all of a sudden his villainy show pulled out and now you're just like, oh, yeah, he's super menacing. Who's hiding it right below the surface. He's just the same kind of quiet, mopey dope.
Yeah.
And he gets taken down in a stupid way, too. For a guy who meticulously crafts all of his...
he's just like, $1 million?
Yeah,
$2 million.
Yeah, and then everyone just lights him up.
Yeah,
which was another funny moment. It's like all of a sudden everybody has guns somehow. Like everybody's got a gun.
Yeah, it was when the security guard gets one, and then when they're in the vault, and I'm like, "Where do you get that gun?" And then they're on the table.
Yeah, they're just on the table.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I really had a lot of fun with this. It was a fun, cute movie. It was like, notes of Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Notes of Logan Lucky. And I feel like if you liked this humor and you want it cranked up a little bit, the recent Amazon release written by Macon Blair Brothers starring Josh Brolin and Peter Dinklage, has a lot of notes of this, but kind of cranked up, like the intensity of it cranked up a lot. So I think that with the score, kind of leaning into the noir aspect of the story and the double cross nature of everything, it was a lot of like staccato violin plucking and xylophone music.
It reminded me of like old like spy music.
Yeah, it kind of felt like that was what he wanted to go, but it was so overtly goofy in times, especially with peanut butter and jelly characters.
Yeah.
That it's almost like it didn't quite nail either one of the tones 100%. So for that, it didn't work, but it worked more than it didn't work for me. So I still had a good time. It was a good recommendation. Otter, because I never would have went and seeked this one out.
I've never even heard of it.
Me neither. Yeah, it was like, I mean, Patrick Dempsey. I've said my thoughts on him, and Ashley Judd is always fine, also, but never great in my opinion. So.
Yeah, it's a very, you could say, middle of the road.
They had a decent name drop for the movie. Like, no, don't go in there. It's Flypaper.
Yeah. The money's just, the heist is just Flypaper.
Yeah.
Wink.
So I thought, I swear to God, I didn't hear Flypaper. I heard flat paper.
Flat paper?
I heard flat paper.
Flat paper?
Yeah, flat. They just said, it's just flat paper. And I was like, oh.
That's weird. They had the opportunity to say Flypaper, and they said flat
Why
paper.
would they say flat paper?
I don't know. That's just what I heard.
Interesting.
They didn't really accentuate the fly in Flypaper.
Yeah. So for that, you had to lower it down a half star.
They had a good opportunity to use the name of the movie in the movie.
The title drop, it was botched.
But the delivery of the line was flat?
Yeah.
Literally?
Angry Otter mentions the robbing of the Jiffy Lube. I loved that.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, yeah, we're international. We did an international job. We knocked off a Jiffy Lube in Ontario. It's like, okay, technically you're right.
And then the follow-up to that conversation is, well, they got caught because their car broke down. It's like, so you robbed a Jiffy Lube, but your car broke down? You were at the Jiffy Lube.
I know. The irony of that situation is not lost on us, believe me. That was really funny.
That actor who plays Jelly, he coincidentally was in Identity. He played the main insane
guy. Oh yeah,
guy.
you're right. He did. Uh-huh.
He was also in not Hard Candy.
Constantine.
The Devil's Candy.
Yeah, Constantine. He was the
priest, right?
Priest that drinks himself to death.
There was a couple shots in this movie where I was like, is that Kyle Gass?
Yeah.
But no, it's not Kyle Gass.
I think isn't he the guy who gets eaten by a Spinosaurus in Jurassic Park 3? He looks like that guy.
I don't know.
I should have looked that up. Dang. I was thinking of that when I saw him.
I don't know. I didn't expect some of the brutal deaths in this. Like Mekhi Phifer specifically, when he's like going up there, he separates from everybody else and he gets blown away by the tank and he's on fire, falls through the vents.
Yeah.
Everyone's just looking at this burning body.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be a fake body. I thought he was behind all of it.
Oh, okay.
Mekhi Phifer?
Yeah.
Oh.
But I guess not.
Unrelated to Michelle Pfeiffer.
I feel like it was the concept of this one particular security flaw in a bank's security system. Like we have a 2-minute window where the alarm's not going to work or whatever, and multiple bands of villains trying to capitalize on it at one time. I thought that was a great idea. And also the insider selling that information to multiple people is a great idea.
Yeah.
But he didn't actually do that. He sold it to one person.
He sold it to like an unknown.
And his Vicelis drum set the rest of it up.
Yeah.
But it's like, I feel like that, just those little two bits together, like the overarching story and then the bit about the tech guy selling that weak point of the security to like a bunch of different people would be a really interesting way to make a Murderer's Row type of movie with like Smoking Aces. Everybody gets the hit on Jeremy Piven at the same time. There could be, I think that the same concept could be taken and cranked up a little bit and polished to a point where it's a really, I don't know, like a really exciting movie.
Yeah, and I also like how they solved, like, I like how Patrick Dempsey's character, like, the way he goes about solving the whodunit plot too, because he's not a genius. He's just hyper aware of details, which is explained why he likes coins. He's like, I like the weight of coins in my pants. I like counting them.
I like the way they feel in my pocket.
Yeah, and so him being neurotic throughout the whole movie, like, doesn't feel forced at all. And I'm super glad that the movie was committed to him not being a part of the heist. He was just some guy that just.
But he was a villain. Wasn't he ranked also?
No.
Oh, but he was talking about how we can turn jobs together as to Ashley Judd. Was that just because now he wants to be?
Yeah, because
in that world?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I missed something because he all of a sudden was like, "How about this? We go in together."
Yeah. No, he got that high of the heist, and now he's gonna chase it.
I mean, he was dressed like a villain.
He's wearing sunglasses in a bank.
Sunglasses and all black with a black leather jacket in a bank.
He looked like a. See, it's interesting because I wonder now, like, if maybe he shouldn't take his meds to be a better bank robber. Because of how meticulous, how neurotic he is with details. Like, the meds keep that attitude at bay. So maybe he should just get rid of the pills so he can become this neurotic bank robber.
He could be the technology guy or like the behind the scenes detail guy.
Yeah, he could like be like watching like in the Batman where Catwoman has those contact cameras, and then you can just watch.
Apparently, the alias of Gordon, played by Jeffrey Tambor, is Vicelis Drum. The word tambor in Spanish means drum.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Hey,
perfect.
There's not a whole lot of trivia on this movie. That was like the most interesting bit.
Well,
other than the medicine that the Depakine, that Trip is supposed to take, it's a mood stabilizer, which implies that he might suffer from bipolar disorder.
Brianna said she had to give her mom that when she was in her late stages of her battle with cancer.
Oh, really?
She says it was also like a relaxant, calm your mind or whatever.
Interesting. Oh, that makes sense.
The budget for the movie was $8 million and it made $1,098.
Oh my god!
It was released to 2 theaters.
Oh no!
With no advertising.
That's
why I never heard of it.
Yeah, it's a shame too because I feel like it could probably.
It's not a bad movie.
No, I feel like it could find the right audience, and also, I just feel like if it was just a little bit more polished, it could be kind of in that running of like an Ocean's 11 type movie, but much tighter, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Joseph. It does seem like an indie comedy movie because it's very small scale, and
yeah,
and that's not even saying it's a bad thing.
No.
But it's just
a different type of movie.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes audience score 42%.
Wow.
Critics score 15%.
Oh my god!
It's not that bad.
No.
Come on, it's not that bad.
It really isn't that bad.
Where's that drop?
It's somewhere in the ether. Let's see. Is there any reviews?
Oh my god!
Are there any? There's only ratings. There's no.
Go to the best one and then go to the worst one.
There's no.
I only have 2 of my friends have logged this on Letterboxd. One is Paul from the Countdown Movie Podcast. Good dude, really tough on movies. Gave it 1 star.
Oh.
Oof.
And then my friend Drake, who I don't know in real life, he's just
You're friends with Drake?
Yeah. Yeah. Who I don't know in real life. We just follow each other on Letterboxd. His favorite films are The Passenger, Silence of the Lambs, It, and Split. At least was
It's the original?
No, the Andy Muschietti one.
Oh.
Those are his listed on his favorite films, his top 4. And he gave it 4 stars.
Out of 5.
Out of 5, yeah.
Okay.
I'd say this is a 3-star movie for me. 3-star with a heart.
3 star and a like. Okay.
Yeah, 3-star and a heart.
I would agree with that as well.
One of the best reviewed reviews of this movie on IMDb. There's quite a few 10 out of 10s for this movie. An absolute delight. Listen to the dialogue. Peanut butter and jelly, tricky film. Lovely little gem. These are all the titles of these reviews.
Okay.
Brilliant, all-in-one entertainer. This one, an absolute delight from 2018. It's hard to think of caper films any better than this. Is it a 10 in the context of Gone with the Wind or Chinatown? Of course not. But as a representative of its genre it's first rate. It's a mystery thriller action film and perhaps above all a comedy. I loved every minute of it.
I think the right person is gonna. I mean, Angry Otter says this is one of his favorite comedies.
Yeah.
Otter, what other some of your like top comedies? I'd put Some Like It Hot, Tropic Thunder. Ooh, what other good comedies are there?
Like classic comedies?
Oh yeah, Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah,
those are like top tier for me.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World is pretty good. Yeah,
I really enjoy Old School. That's a
Old School's fun. Yeah,
it's a funny movie. Anchorman, Step Brothers.
I would never put
40-year-old
any of those near the top of like best comedies for me, but those are all respectable. I think.
Rat Race.
Oh, Rat Race.
Anybody?
That is a movie I haven't heard in a long time.
1 out of 10 review on IMDb. What a remarkably dumb movie. Nothing remotely believable or likable with this disaster. I couldn't get past the first 10 minutes. Just stupid Americaca gun culture nonsense. I wasted 10 minutes of my life. Don't do the same.
Wait, 10 minutes?
What the hell does that even mean? Americaca.
Americaca gun culture nonsense.
Otter says other favorite comedies: Under the Rainbow, Game Night, Overboard, and Clue.
And then he just replied Schindler's List as well. I don't know if that's a comedy, Angry Otter, but
Passengers. That's not a wait.
No, we're talking about the top 4 of that guy, Drake.
Oh, okay.
His top 4. He says Passengers with Chris Pratt. Haven't seen that one. The other one is The Passenger with Colin Gallner.
That one's great.
I think my favorite. I wouldn't say it's my favorite comedy, but it's my favorite comedy movie. Or like intro was The Other Guys, where it shows Samuel Jackson and The Rock.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that one. I was thinking of Nice Guys. Yeah.
Oh, The Nice Guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what it's called?
No, you got it.
Oh, okay.
There is The Other Guys, and there's The Nice Guys. Both cop movies.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find a good 4.5.
Super Troopers.
Super Troopers. Yeah.
Tropic Thunder.
Scary Movie.
That's in my That's in my.
You don't like Scary Movie?
It's fine.
Scary Movie 2.
What I found really hilarious about this movie too, and there was no questioning from the cops at all about like the dead bodies. It was just immediate news interviews.
You're free to go,
and they're just like, "Yep, have a nice day."
Well, this nightmare is over. Let me help you carry your your presents to the car.
Yeah, I found that really funny too, and I think that was done on purpose. Like the lack of investigation from law enforcement about this, like really,
they're like, that's gonna drive the budget up.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that was deliberate because of the budget, and also just because this movie is a comedy. So
yeah,
I found a review, 4.5 star with a heart review from a reviewer named Magnolia on Letterboxd. It sounds like Tyler wrote it. I'm a lover of heist movies of all kinds. We all know this. Patrick Dempsey is a sexy, manic guy is the best thing ever. 3 praying hands emoji. Praise be. Bless up. He was so baby girl in this.
What? It does kind of sound
Was
like
this written in the last year?
Let me see. Let me see when this was written. This was reviewed.
If you know me.
April of 2024, yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Praise be.
Praise be.
Baby girl.
God bless.
He was so baby girl. Another 4.5 star review.
What that means.
I demand a peanut butter and jelly spin-off. They were so wholesome and truly brought a smile to my face every scene they were in. Audibly gasped when I thought that jelly died. I would have rioted if peanut butter was without his jelly. Overall, the film was a sleigh because it combined mystery, heist, and comedy into one.
A sleigh.
This is from Angelo. And Angelo's top 4 is Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown from 1988, Tenebrae, Theater Camp, woof, And Clue.
Oh,
go figure.
There's a common thread here.
I agree with Angelo on this, though. There needs to be a peanut butter and jelly spinoff because those were some charismatic characters in that
they were
movie. Good. I would love to see the hijinks that they pull in their personal lives with the money. They got away with the money.
I feel like we should get a prequel.
Or a prequel.
That leads up to this moment.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Did you guys have you guys seen Bullet Train?
Yes.
Is that one with Brad Pitt?
Yes.
Yeah. In that one, Aaron Taylor Johnson and what's the other actor's name? Brian Tyree Henry.
Yeah.
They're like a duo of villains, and they have a
duo of criminals.
They have a matching set of names. It's Tangerine and Lemon are their two names, and they're like they say they're brothers. And there's a moment in there where one of the characters may or may not have died, and it is sad.
Yeah,
when you're like, oh, their partner is, it's an effective way to get emotion from two characters, to pair them up and give them a matching name.
Yeah, when I thought Jelly got killed execution style, I was like, holy shit, this movie is really turning into a dark turn.
Yeah.
And he just lost his ear, and then it's all fun and games again.
And then he became more popular than ever and won the election.
Yeah.
That's how it works these days.
Yep.
I was ready to go into my People's Democratic Republic of China shill phase.
Oh.
Dear leader, thank you for Flypaper from 2011. And we thank you for our most glorious leader, Donald Trump, who will be taking office as a dictator in the next few days.
Crazy, we're about to live in a fascist state.
There we go. We're here.
Do you guys think we'll be in the same military unit?
The military zoned.
I
don't know.
I hope so.
I hope I'm on like District 2 or 3 or something like that.
Yeah, I'll probably be the first one to get killed.
Tyler,
and it won't even be by the government either. I'll like trip and fall.
Tyler thinks that he'd be District 11 or District 12, but in reality, you'd be warm in the minor manor.
Did you finish your? Is going away from the movie now, but did you get your Hunger Games?
No, we haven't continued. We're waiting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
what are you waiting for?
The right moment.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like I don't want to watch one without Brianna, and Brianna doesn't want me to watch it unless I'm ready. Because she's like,
unless you're ready.
Yeah, like if I get like I've had a really long stretch of long days at work for like the last 3 weeks. It's been maybe more, probably closer to a month now. It's been a very trying time at work. Yeah. So when I get home, if I'm emotionally checked out and I'm like, I don't want to focus on anything that I don't really want to spend any more emotional energy on a movie. So I'm going to put something on light lifting, like Crawl Space. Or I'm just going to play Minecraft for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Welcome to Ultra Hell.
Yeah. So, there's got to be the right time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to also mention was I thought it was really fun, the monologue about the Jewish bank robber.
Oh, Weinstein was awesome.
The character. Yeah.
He was badass. I would like to see a solo movie of him.
I thought it was Ted Raimi the whole time. I was like, man, Ted Raimi's taller than I thought.
He looked buff.
You know who Ted Raimi is, Tyler?
I don't.
He's Sam Raimi's brother.
Okay.
He's an actor. In the Spider-Man movies, the one with what's his name?
The one that
Tobey Maguire.
made by Sam Raimi.
Yeah, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. He's J. Jonah Jameson's like sidekick who keeps coming in and like, we need a picture for the front page. He keeps popping in and he's like,
that's
get
him.
out. That's Ted Raimi.
Oh, okay.
He's in a ton of stuff. He's small parts in a lot of things.
In Sam Raimi productions.
Almost all Sam
Kind of like
movies.
James Gunn's brother.
Yeah.
Sean Gunn.
Sean Gunn. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But Sean Gunn also had his own standalone career. He was in Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Directed by James Gunn.
That would have been an interesting twist. Gilmore Girls.
Let's see if James Gunn has been in Gilmore Girls.
That's my wife.
Oh man,
I have not much else to say about the movie.
No, and then the reveal happens of Jeffrey Tambor being Vasilis Drum, and they shoot him dead. he dies.
Yeah, I mean, it's
then they all kind of get away for the most part. Not everybody who lived.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
There's a lot of deaths in this movie. That's kind of just.
But she was planning on robbing the place anyway, Ashley Judd, right?
Yeah, but she was already on her way out. Like she had the money like in the
box for
the wedding
gift box.
Yeah, the gift boxes. So like she was already like she pretty much already was done.
She had just got that job, right? At the bank, or has she been working there for a while?
I don't know if it's a
She's new.
Oh, okay.
Faked the fiance, but he knew it the whole time or something, right?
Well, he figured
he
it
knew
out
from the context clues of her fakakta like cubicle
Yeah.
she was working in.
Yeah.
And the robberies happening at the same time really threw a wrench into her plan.
Yeah.
What a coincidence, huh?
I know.
I thought that until it's revealed, I thought they were all asked to be there to be caught by the law.
Oh, to get them out of the market or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Angry Otter says, Tyler, it's okay. Greenland's this nice this time of year. He's talking about you getting shipped off in the Trump army.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah.
And he says also, fun fact: Gilmore Girls is set on the same set as Dukes of Hazzard.
Is that right?
They shoot on the same set.
That's interesting.
I feel like I should have known that. I used to watch Gilmore Girls religiously.
And Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes of Hazzard.
That show's good. Got good writing. Gilmore
Dukes
Girls.
of Hazzard. Oh
yeah. Yeah, Daisy Dukes. Am I right?
Dude.
Coined a whole new name for
Boss
a type
Hogs.
of shorts.
Yeah. I do like Daisy Dukes when I'm doing yard work.
Tyler, do you want to give Flypaper a grade?
Oh yeah. I will give it a solid B. Like I don't see myself seeking this movie out on my own accord, but like if I'm like on Pluto TV or something and it just happens to be on, like I'll stop on by and take a hangout session with Flypaper and be happy with it. But other than that, yeah, it's a
a mid grade is a C, right?
I understand that.
It is
but
definitely a mid movie.
And I couldn't agree anymore, Tyler. It is a seriously middle of the line, entertaining movie. Just it was a chef's kiss to the definition of a mid movie.
Okay.
B,
middle of the road B.
It's like a dish with like just enough salt.
Exactly. Exactly.
All right, Joseph, what did you give Flypaper?
So you stuck with your B, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I was gonna give it a B. It's angled towards a B plus. And I don't know. I don't really see myself revisiting it. It's kind of an out there movie considering the budget and what its return was, and it's how nobody
watched it.
Nobody has ever heard of it.
Yeah.
Just seems like one of those random movies that like connects with you and you enjoy it. And it's something you just have in your little pocket.
Yeah.
Just to pull out. Have you heard of this movie? No, I've never heard of that movie. It's kind of an interesting concept.
Yeah.
Something unique. Something I don't think you'll have wasted any time watching it. You'll have a mildly good time to a really good time. A big range there.
Yeah.
So yeah, like a B.
B. Okay. I'm gonna give Flypaper. I was like going back and forth between like a C plus and a B minus, but I enjoyed it ultimately. So I'm gonna go B minus. Fun, not super polished, and the low budget is kind of shows. Feels like they rushed through some of the final production and maybe could have done another pass with some ADR or some second pass with editing or whatever. But and I feel like Jeffrey Tambor really was his heart was not in this project.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't have a whole lot in the movie, like throughout the whole movie. Didn't seem like he had a whole lot of involvement anyway.
Yeah, it's almost like they picked the character that you have the least amount of interaction with and said he's the guy.
Yeah,
yeah.
So isn't this crazy?
And that woman who dies, the quote unquote hot woman.
Yeah,
she doesn't even have any lines.
I don't think so.
No, She did, but she didn't speak English. She said no English.
I don't
to
even.
the security.
Oh, you're right. She was trying to rebuff his advances.
Yeah.
I honestly didn't even remember her from that time, like from I guess the beginning of the movie.
I don't think she was really focused on in the beginning. Of the
Yeah,
movie.
I was like, this person's dead. I'm like, who's that?
No, she was. She was in the very, very first start of the movie. She's
I
the main
know, but I didn't. She had such
She
a
wasn't very memorable.
insignificant part of the whole thing.
Yeah,
She's the
you
Swiss miss, says Otter.
You quickly forget about her as the plot progresses forward. At least
So,
for me.
all right. So that is Flypaper from 2011. Now it's time for the Wheel of Destiny.
1 wheel, 8 slots, 3 hosts. This is the Wheel of Destiny.
All right, Flypaper off the wheel, and I don't have any Patreon picks to replace it with yet. I need to figure out who's going to be next up, and I wanted to talk to you two fellas about. We did like a year and a half ago. We did a Patreon. Actually, it wasn't a Patreon, but it was like a listener pick roundup. We did all our listener picks.
Oh, yeah.
Like in a bonus episode or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think we should do something similar to knock through some of these because I'm looking at like our list of. I think Dylan is next, and his movie. His movie was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which was October 18th, 2023 when we did it.
Oh.
Just the format of the wheel has been a fickle mistress to the Patreon members, and we haven't had a lot of them yet.
Yeah.
So we have Dylan, we have Mitch Burns from December 20th of 2023. Jason, he had us do Deep Cover, December 27th, 2023. So we're like a full over a year past all those, and I feel like we owe it to them to like get some Patreon picks through.
Okay.
So I'm not sure how we want to format that, but let's talk offline and figure out how we want to do that. And maybe we'll do like one time around a movie for all three of us, and then we'll just do a bunch of Patreon movies.
Okay. Kind of like what you used to do.
Yeah, it was like. So Joseph and I were talking a little bit about this, and this is in the Inside Baseball, about like, should we maybe focus, like do seasons where we like, we're all going to do kung fu movies, or we're all going to do sports movies or something like that. And we can pick, put it out to the Patreon members to vote and say what the Patreon pick is for the group, like a group Patreon pick of, what baseball movie do you guys want to see? And then I'll pick one, you pick one, Joseph picks one, and we do 4 baseball movies in a row.
I pick basketball.
There you go. Perfect. That would be great. Doesn't qualify, but it's your pick. So we talked about doing that possibly. We talked about maybe just doing it as a rotation. Next episode is Tyler's, then the next episode is Joseph's, and then is mine, and then the Patreon pick.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. So we got some possible format changes, and we're already past 5 years. We're coming up on 500 episodes. Episode 500. 500 is very soon. Yeah, that's hefty. So, is it worth doing a format change? Do we want to keep it fresh? Do you want to keep doing the same thing? Maybe we should put it out to the Patreon listeners.
Yeah, make them decide.
We should not review movies. We should review books.
There you go.
Ooh, I would love that.
Do we want to do a video game streaming channel? And it could be Joseph playing Super Meat Boy and me playing Minecraft, and Tyler crying in the corner,
just watching. Yeah.
Tyler's watching summaries of cutscenes of video games on YouTube.
I'm watching people play video games.
Yeah, you're watching someone else watch someone.
You're watching us play video games.
Yeah. I can be the color commentary of the video games you guys play.
Yeah, exactly.
And here right now we have Pete doing a really amazing build on this Minecraft structure. I don't know what he's building right now, but it's
a bold choice, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off.
Yeah, I could do that. The color commentary.
So all those are potentials for the future.
Wait, it is.
Besides that, no video games. That's for the other channel.
Okay.
But yeah, so we'll figure that out, and we'll get some new Patreon picks on the wheel.
MCGC, Middle Class Game Channel.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, the entire should be Patreon since you already reviewed your own picks of the week. Just saying. The entire
episode.
The entire what should be Patreon. since you already review your own picks of the week.
But Tyler already cries in the corner of this channel.
Oh, the entire wheel. Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So basically, like the entire wheel would be all Patreon picks, and then the movies that we talk about are our streaming picks. We could do we could do something similar to that, where we do less streaming picks but more involved reviews on them, and we're only doing one at a time.
Less stream picks, but more
time spent on like 2 streaming picks a week max. We spend more time talking about it, so it's a more in-depth review sort of a thing. Yeah, I'm down for all of that. So maybe I'll put a call out to Twitter, Patreon, the Facebook, all that kind of stuff.
Or we just have Angry Otter be the producer then.
Yeah, let's do it.
Can boss us around. Well, apparently I cry in a corner.
I am the law. I remember when we had Jason from Binge, Jason from Binge Movies come on, and he was appalled at the treatment of Tyler. He's like, you put him in a freaking closet. He's not even in the same room as you guys. Disparage him on air.
It's all in good fun and mostly deserving.
And mostly warranted. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to recap what we have on the wheel. We have Falling in Love Like in Movies from Pete. Hell Comes to Frogtown from Pete. Teeth from Tyler. Killing of a Sacred Tear from Tyler. Paul Blart Mall Cop 2 from Joseph.
I forgot about that.
The Town from Joseph. And if it lands on a Patreon pick, we're just going to spin again.
Why isn't this movie The Town?
So, this is the movie that we're going to watch next week.
The Town. Come on, The Town. The Town.
The Town. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Why?
Why isn't this movie The Town?
It is.
Well,
now this movie is The Town.
It is The Town. Hooray!
Right. Once you say why, and then I'll look up where it's at.
Well, it was all based off this drop.
Oh, really?
Why isn't this movie The Town?
I questioned that. I looked deep. Why isn't this movie? Why isn't Flypaper The Town? Why isn't any other movie we
Come and
review
see.
The Town?
Come and see.
Why isn't Space Jam The Town?
Well, you can watch it on Hulu this week and find out.
Huzzah! This is a Ben Affleck directed movie.
And stars in it.
Starring Ben Affleck, Jeremy Renner, Casey Affleck? No.
I don't think Casey Affleck's in this one.
No.
Let's see here.
No.
The Town, 2010.
It's the one where they dress as nuns and they rob a bank or something.
Kind of.
Yeah,
It says,
that's all I remember. It
Doug
as.
McRae is a longtime thief who, smarter than the rest of his crew, is looking for his chance to exit the game.
Oh, that's right.
When a bank job leads to the group kidnapping an attractive branch manager.
Throw an attractive in there.
He takes on the role of monitoring her, but their burgeoning relationship threatens to unveil the identities of Doug and his crew to the FBI agent who is on their case. Starring Ben Affleck, Casey Affleck, Rebecca Hall, John Hamm, Blake Lively, George Carroll, Pete Postlethwaite, and Titus Welliver, Chris Cooper, Dennis McLaughlin.
Yes. Streaming on Hulu.
Yeah, cool. I've seen it before. I like it.
I've never seen it. Don't know anything about it. Don't care to know.
Sorry for reading the synopsis.
Yeah.
Don't care to know.
I don't care to know. I'm not going to watch it.
That would be a weird power move. I'm putting it on the wheel. I'm gonna make you guys watch it. I'm not.
So what do you guys think?
I'm out.
Huh? Sounds boring. I don't care.
Tell me, because I don't know. All right, we'll do it next week then.
Right on.
Alrighty.
Cool.
Okay, anything else you guys have, fellas?
Goodbye, TikTok.
Goodbye, TikTok.
Most glorious leader. We can't wait for what's it called? Red what?
Red Note.
Red Note will be on my homepage of my phone and my heart next week.
I packed my bags. I got my plane ticket. I'm moving to China, as are the rest of us.
Yeah.
To live the rest of our lives under our glorious supreme leader.
Yes. Winnie the Pooh.
Yes.
Yeah, I got a interview for being a helper out on a rice field.
They still got DHL out there, I think.
Oh yeah, they do. I think I can transfer.
Easy transfer.
Yeah, exactly. I can't wait to get some General Tso's chicken, like straight from the source, straight from the general himself.
I know. Yeah, straight from the general.
Eat Chinese food every day.
Yeah, it's just called food over there, actually.
Yeah.
All right, so
awesome.
Yeah, there you go. So thank you to our cool ass yard duties over on Patreon. That's Javier, Heather, Steven, Michael, and Chris. And thank you for this movie selection from Michael, from Angry Otter himself. He's in the chat. He's been chatting along with us for the second half and says, just FYI, we love Tyler. He's an integral part of the show.
He didn't say that.
Yes, he did.
He said it. He's right there.
Right there. He did say that.
I know. I was joking.
Oh, okay. Tyler is, as he says on his mom's podcast, The Ugly Truth, the straw that stirs the drink on this podcast.
I don't know. I think
you're more the wild card.
Yeah. Or I'm just the narcissistic loser that decided to.
You're the part of the. You're part of a mixed drink where I'm like, what is that?
Is that Chambord?
I will take that as a compliment.
You're the Malort to my.
Is that Grand Marnier? I don't need it very often, but when I do, it's important.
Oh, what is that?
All right, so until next time. Thank you for everybody joining us on YouTube, and for the audio-only listeners, come on over. It's funner on the video stream. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/MCFC podcast, and send us an email, mcfcpodcast@gmail.com.
And follow us on Instagram at Middle Class Film Class, and leave us a voicemail if you'd like to have your voice heard on the show. That number is 209-283-1716.
Follow us on TikTok, I don't know, Middle Class Film Class, and on Twitter at Podcast MCFC.
And go watch The Town on Hulu next week so you can follow along next week. See you next time.
Goodbye.
See ya.